But we'll do a quick rundown of the order, or as quickly as we can possibly do with all the karts running out there with just less than 3.5 hours to go. Your leader still is the number 130 of Red Racing, 986 laps completed. The number 43 of MS SoCo Select are 26 seconds behind. In third place, 1 lap down, is the 111 of MS JSR. Fourth is the number 42 of MS Lucas, who are 5 laps down. They are all elite runners. Fifth and first in Pro is the number 11 of MS Karts, 8 laps off the overall lead. A further 5 laps down, but back in front and still pounding round. 1 hour and 28 minutes into their current stint are the 77 of Offline Motorsport. A further lap behind, but have made a pit stop recently, is the number 115 of Team Keen, 3rd in Pro, 4th in Pro, 8th overall, the number 390 of PGS Racing, 9th overall, 5th in Elite are the 210 of Team Backmarker. A further lap behind, and then we get into our Clubman field. 10th overall, the 303 of 303 Racing, 25 laps off the lead. A lap further back is the 006 of Modernised Racing in 11th overall, 2nd in class. 12th overall and 3rd in class is the number 36 of the Rye House Bandits, who are 11.6 seconds behind the 006 of Modernised. 13th overall, 4th in class, the number 443 of MS.BE. On the same lap as them, in 14th place overall, 5th in class, last year's winners of this class, SMJ 595. 15th overall, 4 laps further back, is the 024 of Modernised Karting. So the second of those teams. 16th overall, the 198 of DW Racing, the guys there 3 laps back from Modernised Karting, but crucially a minute ahead of, in 17th place, number 19 of the Frosterley in. 18th place, the 780 of Tockwith Motorsport Trico, TMS Trico, 51 laps off the lead, and 18th is probably where they're going to finish. They can just see it through to the end now. 19th place, the 340 of TT Sport. That's the last of the Clubman runners all in that big group, because just ahead, this is just remarkable, they've just pitted after 1 hour and 18 minutes. The number 6 of Kart Events Belgium have just set their fastest lap of the race so far, 1 minute 18.5. However, we have had reports that they've had the same or a similar exhaust cowl issue to what they suffered earlier in the race, so we'll keep on tabs with that. As I say, they are ahead of a Clubman kart, and they are in 21st. The 888 of Blue Dog, 85 laps off the lead, may jump ahead of Kart Events Belgium in this next pit stop. 22nd overall, we're now properly into the higher ranks. 2nd in higher, the number 41 of Team ETL, excessive track limits. In 23rd overall, 3rd in class, the number 66 of Kart Events Belgium 2. So they have now got both of those karts onto the higher podium as it stands. Although, no, that is genuine, because all the teams behind them are owing us stops as well. So 24th place, the number 66 of A66. 25th, the 987 of Eco Racing. 26th, the number 84 of Lockwell Hill Karting. 27th, the 015 of Bradley Shepherd Racing in the pits at the moment, in 28th position for a regular pit stop, the number 33 of BTM Racing. NRG Global Power continue their climb back through the order. They're going to need some other things to happen for them to get any higher up, but considering they were down in the 50s at one point, 29th is a pretty good job for the 430 of NRG Global Power. 30th, the number 91 of Team Tate. They've had their problems as well. 31st, the number 59 of Century Sim Racing. 32nd, the 111 of JS Racing. 33rd, not their year, for the 169 of the Euro Bandits Motorsport team. 34th, the number 11 of the G3 Pro team. 35th, the 113 of Core Blimey Racing. 36th, they've just taken this position virtue of a pit stop for Scar Racing, but SRW Racing now up to 36th, as I mentioned. 37th now for Scar, the Swindon Karting Arena Racing team. 38th, still a really good run so far from the English Deaf Karting team, EDKT 24T, the number 85. 39th, still for the 555 of the renowned Vankels. 40th, the 466 of A66-2, their second team. Ahead at the moment of the 187 of Jibtech in 41st. 42nd is BTM UK2. 43rd, 095 of Race for Rubin. 44th is the number 52 of Zap. 45th, and another team that's creeping their way up the order in the latter stages of this race is the number 81 of Hopeless Disaster. 46th, the number 200 of Boneheads. 47th, 227 of Piston Broke Racing. Well, we need to establish if our co-commentator is out there on circuit for his second stint, or whether it's been passed on to somebody else. 48th is the 270 of DEER. 49th, number 99 of Porsche Sports. 50th, back into the top 50, is the 040 of CMC Racing. That's a Clubman Kart coming back through the field. 51st is the number 71 of Grabex Racing. 52nd is the number 10 of Three Blind Mice. In the pits at the moment in 53rd, bit of a slow stop as well, is the number 42 of the BUKC Rejects, ahead of the number 1 of the Teesside Tigers in 54th. Adrenico Racing have had a tough debut here at Teesside, but learnt a lot. They're still plugging away. In 55th is the number 36. 56th is the number 70 of LMS. 57th is the number 45 of BH Designs Racing. 58th, the number 17 of Straight Through Crew. 59th, number 40 of Pace Limited. 60th, the number 14 of Algorithmic Ascendancy. 61st, the number 9 of Newmarket Hornets. 62nd, the 141 of RDT Racing. 63rd, the 37 of Two Stroke. 64th, number 7 of Team Carter. 65th, the number 20 of Rind Racing, ahead of in 66th, the number 30 of Curiosity Killed the Kart. Zolt Bay Racing are in 67th, the number 82. 68th, in the number 48 are the Century Simpletons. 69th, the 58 of Kart Force. In 70th, the number 47, we've seen them in trouble the last few hours, is Team Solan. 71st and running again is the number 61 of Alessia. That's another one of the recovering Clubman Karts. 72nd, number 24 of Ain't Gonna Win. 73rd, the 037 of Why So Serious. And that's the end of your karts currently running. We've got 4 karts not running out there as it stands. The 74th AMF kart, 75th CTR kart, 76th NE1 Racing, and 77th Shirley Bassey. That's your rundown with 3 hours and 14 and a half minutes to go. Try now.
Yeah, we're back now.
There we go.
Good. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. The other way. We had a kart off at the down at Rib, and it looked like it could have been the 42. One of our
that's MS Lucas.
Could have been off. It looked like it from the distance. Not 100% sure, but they were definitely yellow flagged down at that corner. Everybody back and running though. We are 7 laps away from the magic 1,000. Still have 3 hours and 13 minutes remaining.
Good morning. Sorry, David. Good morning to my good mate, Mr. Stephen Hicks. How's the pit stop situation at the front? Does Dave Robinson need me to come rescue the win like I used to do in the BUKC for Loughborough? I think he's doing all right, mate. I think he's doing all right. It's still very close out there. Well, actually saying that was a very slow lap last time around for MS Soko Select, so they might need you, Hicksy.
22.5, that's 9 seconds off the pace, so how the 43 is, but tough lap for them.
Hicksy also says, where is my Greek PFI special brother from another mother? I think Costa's still out there. He's been plugging away in the Bradley Shepherd Racing entry.
Mr. Butterworth is out.
He is out.
227.
I knew he couldn't resist. I knew he couldn't resist heading out for another hack.
They've had a new exhaust, I believe, placed on that.
Number 6.
Kartevents.be number 6 during its pit stop because it was making quite a loud noise without it. So they've had that replaced, and it's not cost them the lead.
Remy Gilbert, or Gilbert, apologies, which one of them's wrong. Has Red Racing pitted yet? They last pitted 23 minutes ago. So they're still on for another 2 stops to go. Same as MS Soko Select.
So it is a merited lead at the moment, rather than an artificial one caused by the pit stops. And as we see the leader there, the Kart Events Belgium 06, the kart in front of that is the 37 of the 2-stroke team. And they have had a change of kart in the early part of the race where the axle bearing failed. They went out in another kart and the engine failed on that one. And by the time they got that problem sorted their original race kart was fixed, so they went back out in that one. So they've had a tough introduction to endurance racing, Team 2-stroke. Some very quick drivers, and that is being proved now as their driver has completed a lap in front of the the class leader in that one. Looks like the leader might dive to the inside down into rib and does eventually get through, but the 37 with Andy Ambrose on board, despite now being well down the order, still has some good pace. It's just a shame that the early part of the race went against them as the 43 of Robinson comes to the inside. They're going to go 3 wide down the back straight. They could probably go 5 wide down there. We've seen it at times throughout the night as the Belgian contingent continues their quest towards victory. I imagine at some point in the next couple of hours he'll be gritting his teeth in there, having done at least 12 hours at the wheel.
Hope you're enjoying the coverage of the 2020 British 24-hour karts race, provided to you by Alpha Live. If you're watching on the Alpha Live YouTube channel and you've not subscribed yet, please, if you can, lend a hand, click that subscribe button, click the notification bell as well to be notified when all future streams and events start up.
British Championships next week, streamed live from Rower in Cumbria. First round of the British Championships, which is obviously starting late due to current conditions. Alpha Live will bring you the opening round of the British Championships next weekend.
Plenty to come as well. Wilton Mill Kart Club will be there for the 4th Sunday of the month. I'm assuming here as well. We are the Teesside owner.
We are back here on the 23rd of August for the next round of the NRG Cycles Owner Sprint Series here at Teesside Karting, using the national circuit, which you can see there with the loop that joins the D chicane onto the slalom section on the back of the circuit. And there is the NRG kart as we speak about them. Poor Blimey pick up a curb warning, but the 430 of NRG with, now that's Mark Mitchell behind the wheel of that. And, one of their drivers had a very spectacular off yesterday, going through the which we've now renamed as Mentier Dip, after Lee Mentier, who was the driver that went off into those dips on the outside of Rib. So we're just naming things as we go. So they've been renamed as Mentiers. We claim them after quite an emphatic off. If you haven't seen that off, go to the Alpha Live Facebook page, have a quick scroll past the live stream just down there. It's there, it's noted I think at 3 hours and 45 minutes. He has quite an off, manages to keep the kart going, turns it round straight away and get going. So great effort just to keep it going and just get the throttle planted. And that kart's still circulating. 4:30. We are close to the top of the hour. 21 hours almost down. We expect in a few moments the lead kart from Clubman to be in, or they've got quite a cushion now with 7 laps from Team Keen. And we're not too far away either from welcoming the 111 in. And that currently has Jack Grinsell at the wheel of that kart. I'm going to welcome him into the pit lane in the next 5 or 10 minutes, I think, with the current pit window being around about an hour and 20. And they're slightly out of sync actually in that MSJSR kart. And they might need a little splash and dash, maybe. That's the 066. That's the second Belgian entry, isn't it? 066.
Yep. Currently third in class. So the 111 in. This is for a scheduled pit stop. Nothing to be worried about here. 1 hour 10 since their last one. Just taking a chance here to top the tank off. And there will be another 2 stops for them. Their pit strategy hasn't quite gone the same way as Red Racing and MS Soco Select.
That car, Andrew, has just gone down into pit lane rather than on the normal pit lane. It's gone down into the paddock, and we will wait to see how long that car. It's got a cushion of 4 laps back to the sister kart, the 42 of MS Lucas. But depending on what that problem is, but it was an hour and 10. We thought they could have gone 10 minutes further, but having said that, if they did hour 10s, they'd still manage to get to the end on the same number of pit stops. So it's a safe option to do it that way. But we'll have to wait now to see how long that first sector is for when MS JSR get back out on track, and then we'll have to see who's gone in it and whether Jack Grinsel's done a double stint or not. The gap in Clubman in the tight battle for second now sees Team Keen 19 seconds in front of Offline. So I wonder if Offline have gone back to fuel saving mode in an attempt to to save another pit stop. And then trying
to do it, surely.
Well, another pit stop is a minute, isn't it? We've run through that. You need a minute cushion, and if they can stay within a minute and save the fuel, they could be on for a second. But they can't save too much because PGS are only a lap and a half behind. So they don't really want to back themselves into that. A last hour battle with PGS is probably not recommended, as I imagine they'll throw one of their quickest drivers out right at the end. Most of the teams will choose to do that, as we saw our contingent, Mr. Butterworth there, flying through the screen and heading down towards the right-hander at Rib.
1,000 laps on the board, ladies and gentlemen, so we've passed the big milestone.
So that's 1,000 on. We think we might even get to 1,200, and with it being dry and the speeds that we've had, we might even go as far as we have ever done here at the British 24-hour race. There, though, in the background is your race leader. That's Adam Nichols at the wheel of the 13 Red Racing kart. He's going to come up onto the back of these hires. I thought he was going to go to the inside, but Eco Racing have taken that line. Adam Nichols forces his way through, goes to the inside as well, and survives those 2 corners without any contact. The Eco Racing 987. That kart is flying, and it went down the inside of the 37 at a fair rate of knots. Looks like Will Stillwell at the wheel of that kart there with the green Bigfoot Nauseo panel coming up and over the start-finish line.
MSJSR have re-emerged.
They've lost 2 laps.
Yeah. So we're down to 2, aren't we? For a long time we've been talking about a 3-way battle for the win here at the 2020 British 24-hour. I think we start to count MSJSR out of it, and that we're going to crown a new champion. It's been a brave defence of their title from MSJSR. Problems there towards the end of the race can always happen in this sport, and they're left fighting to keep themselves in third. There's Greg Barnard in the number 21, 210 on your timing tower on the left of the screen for team back marker. Going past a bit of the traffic there. There's the 987. That's the Eco Racing entry. They've had a decent race. 4th place in class at the moment. Due a pit stop in the next 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, they were running top 2 at the mechanical window. Those and Kart Events Belgium were the 2 karts that came in first, running 1 and 2.
In fact, Eco Racing might be one of the first teams in the higher classes to do their penultimate stop, because they were just about to pass into 3 hours, and if they can do 1 hour 30 on their next vat of fuel, as 3rd place in Clubman are in, the Rye House Bandits, they can do 90 minutes on their next vat of fuel. That'll leave them with another 90 minutes to go. Top the tank off again and go to the end. Don't count out that 987. That could still sneak onto a podium in higher class as we go into the latter stages. Just see coming down pit lane another one of the higher class runners. I think it was the number 71 Grabex Racing kart in the 52nd position. Yes, it was.
Rye House are in from 3rd place in class. They're in for their pit stop, just having a driver change, and
it's
that
quite
one
early.
looks like it's going slower than expected, that pit stop. There's a lot of people looking over that kart down in pit lane.
It's half an hour early, David. They were only in 54 minutes ago.
There is a lot of people crowding round that 36 kart, most of them actually with orange high vis on from Teesside Karting, just assessing that kart. So I wonder if something's loose maybe, and they're just assessing whether it's safe to send it back out. I mean, we haven't had a mechanical flag for them, I don't think, and it has been sent on its way, but it looks like that was having itself checked over, and that has gone out, and it could bring MS.BE back onto the same number of laps if they come over. If they got past before they came out, they will come over, and whilst there will still almost be a lap down, they could go on to the same number of laps, and then we will have a real battle then in the final 3 hours for the final step of the podium.
So just as we say in overall, I think we're down to 2 in Clubman as well, because that Rye House Bandits entry, the number 36, which has been in the fight for a very, very long time.
Well, that kart qualified in 5th overall. By far the fastest Clubman in qualifying. Chris Bell took that one to a class pole position, 5th overall in front of all of our pro teams. So fantastic lap from him. They are currently in 3rd place, but now 4 laps off the lead. Kart in the Clubman class, which is 303 Racing. They have a 2-lap gap on the 06 of Modernised. The Blue Dogger into the pits once again. That could be a scheduled stop though. That's an hour and 8 minutes since they were last in.
Yeah, so a couple of minutes lost there for the Rye House Bandits. Leaves them in a very tricky position in terms of fuel as well, though, because I reckon they're going to be properly splashing and dashing at the end of this race now.
Yeah, the 11.
2 stops.
The 11, the kart leading pro has been in. Looks like Jamie Tyler's gone out in that one. Steve Thompson exits that, and with 3 hours left. Not sure we'll see Steve again, but he's put a good shift in there and opened the gap up to 6 laps during his stint between Team Keen and Offline. Those two remain at 18 seconds between the two of them as Kieran Lambert in the Lockwell Hill 84 goes round the mountain section and disappears out of sight. He's been followed by the renowned Vankles down the back straight. Really does like to get his head behind the steering wheel, behind that Bigfoot Nauseo panel, try and deflect the air up and over his helmet rather than hitting him, trying to increase his straight line speed. And just before the power cut, we were talking about that kart, and important to note, they ran out of fuel yesterday under a yellow flag situation, trying to push it an extra lap. and ended up pushing the kart from halfway round that South Bank corner, as we've got a yellow out. It's gone back in very quickly though, all the way back to the pit lane as the recovery quad was in use down the other end of the circuit at the mountain section. So they ended up having to push that kart back. Sam Barrett, the driver that was in it, pushed that kart at 152 kilos around 2 to 250 metres as Grabex grabs some gravel on the outside of Rib. That driver's only been in the kart for 10 minutes or so, so still getting to grips with the wheel of the number 71. We go under the 3 hour mark, and we are at the time Modernised 6 and Why So Serious having a
chat,
a hand discussion signal, discussion.
Kart Events Belgium back up into the top 20. This is due
Tigers.
to Blue Dog making a pit stop that looked like a bit of a pig. It was 2 minutes 17 the pit affected first sector. So the top runners in higher back out there on the circuit once more. Eco Racing.
Oh, Why So Serious have spun again. So not only did they have issues with the that kart's going very slowly down the middle of the straight. I think he's going to get back up to speed. That's Mr. Butterworth on his outside. In the piston broke 277. Why So Serious having a tough time of things. They spent a lot of time in the earlier part of the race down in the paddock. Dropped all the way down. Are they still running right at the back? Andrew, they've dropped all the way to the bottom of the field.
Why
at one
So
point.
Serious? They're
back
73rd at the moment.
Although the four below them are in the pits and not running, aren't
yes.
they? AMF, CTR, NE1 Racing and Shirley Bassey, the 4 retirements. Team Solon as well, possibly. They've been in the pits for a while, have they? I know they've only been out for 45 minutes and are now back in the pits, so I wonder whether they have parked up as well. We've certainly got over 70 runners. Those tyres have been rearranged, so I think that could have been the Why So Serious kart. Done a little bit of housekeeping. Marshall there, sorting those tyres out, putting them back into place.
I'm interested to know now that with the Why So Serious driver.
Oh, we've got a higher round on the outside of Rib, just running out of tarmac. That's 81.
It's Hopeless Disaster. The Opel logo on the front of that one. Yeah, I'm really curious to know who's driving the Why So Serious cars, because I think I heard earlier some mentions of the Richardson helmet. Nicky Richardson, former British champion, of course. I have heard him say before that he has been approached by people saying, I really like your helmet design, may I take inspiration from it. Nicky, of course, took the inspiration for his design from the late great Gilles Villeneuve. Great driver for Ferrari in the early 1980s. I know it's not Nicky, of course, because I saw Nicky yesterday down at Buckmore Park. So I know he's not made the mad trip up here as well, that I know a few drivers have done, and some people have also done it the other way. 2 hours and 53 minutes to go then. Lead gap has come back down, David. It's back down to 28 seconds. We saw earlier that Dave Robinson had a slow lap, lost about 9 seconds.
Yeah, went out to 35, didn't it? And we're back down now under the half a minute mark.
Yeah, it's just starting to plug away there at that gap. This race isn't over, ladies and gentlemen. And MS SoCo Select, the last bullet in the gun now for MS. They don't want to lose their title of champions here at the British 24 Hour.
No, last year's winner, MS SoCo Select in the 43, currently running in second place. Last year's winning margin, 25 seconds. The margin currently between Red Racing and MS Soco Select, not much more at 28 seconds. So Red Racing looking to put one over on MS Soco Select. The other challenger, the 111 of MSJSR, fell away in the last half an hour. They came in for an early pit stop after an hour and 10 minutes, and they went down into the mechanical bay as the leader for the Clubman class comes into the pits. 303 Racing are into the pit lane, and Modernised now have an opportunity to get back onto the same lap as 303, although they will be expected into the pits in a few moments' time as well. So 303 in as quickly as they can to try and get themselves back out. Just trying to have a quick look who's getting into that one. Could be Philip Pavlek getting into that one with the white, black and red race suit. They're just having to lead that cart up for Philip. Looks like there's a seat insert going in as well. Bring that cart up to weight. Going to lubricate the chains on the rear end, and the 303 class leading Clubman cart is sent on its way. Back like it's out onto track. There's the cart in second for the well, in overall in the 43, and the 6 is second in the Clubman class.
It might be Andy Dawson driving another 6 at the moment. Another BUKC graduate. Loves his sim racing. Races for Vanquish Esports. He's doing a good job at the moment. The pace is strong as the... Oh, Costa's had a spin. Is that Costa? No, that's not Costa, surely.
No, that's straight through crew again.
Straight through crew. I just saw a flash of just as I turned back, I saw a black helmet with a light yellow streak, and I thought it was Costa for a second. It's been a long day.
I'm not sure.
Costa doesn't spin.
I'm not sure he's going to thank you for that. Calling him out for a spin. But yeah, definitely the 17 now, straight through crew. Almost earlier went straight through the pit, straight through the chicane section of the pit lane that was put in place. Wiped out the barrier just as the night time started.
Lead gap continues to come down. It's 27.1 seconds at the moment. We know that both of these carts are good for fuel. They don't need to save any fuel now between now and 12 o'clock. Not slightly different stints or slightly different amounts of fuel to put into the fuel tank on their last couple of stops, of course, but it won't be a case of they need to eke out some fuel to make sure they don't need a splash and dash.
SMJC still going round in 5th. Looks like Josh Henderson now back at the wheel of that one. They've had a difficult race. Couple of spins early on, couple of problems down in the middle of the night. But to be honest, every one of the Clubman teams at some point has had a problem that's cost them a similar amount of time. 2 or 3 laps. Yeah. I think just after my commentary stint at 2:30, 303 came in with a bent track rod that they tried to hammer straight. I'm not sure they did. I think they ended up having to take it off and replace it, as we see the right house. And that's what they were looking at. Look at the side pod on the left side there. That, I think, is a lot lower. I think that's taking some damage. It's sticking out as well, isn't it? Outside the line of the tyre. That's, I think, what they were looking at in the pit lane earlier for the kart that's currently 3rd in class. PGS behind them, 4th in the pro class with the red background down the left side, comes through and down the inside. No point really for the Rye House kart to battle with that one. They've got their own battle for a podium in class.
Lead gap coming down again, 25.231 seconds. The pressure, I can just feel it building here. big crucial 10 minutes this as well, because we've got 2 hours and 47 minutes on the clock. We've been talking obviously a lot in one of these races about fuel. What would be a right spanner in the works right now, David, is if a full course yellow came out. In theory, you could potentially do it with a full tank of fuel, bit of fuel saving, one stop with an hour 25 to go, but it's in that window of uncertainty. If we go another 6 or 7 minutes, then it gets really interesting as to whether you pit on the full course yellow and take that risk, because it's very much doable with a full course yellow stop and a green flag stop.
There's times when teams won't mind a full course yellow, and then there'll be 10 or 15 minutes before a fuel window where teams really don't want it, because they just know they're going to have a decision to make then.
Yeah.
And it's going to be whether the driver makes the call or the team makes the call. Adam Nichols out in the leading red racing car, very experienced driver, double winner in the Super 1 championships in the TKM class, so an experienced driver, used to pressure, but the added pressure of bringing that red racing cart home, and what could be a maiden victory for a Haas chassis kart at the British 24-hour race.
There was a gesture there from the Rye House pro karting driver. Is that 36 in significant enough trouble that they're going to have to pit? I can't tell from here whether that right-hand side sideboard is getting worse.
Well, MS Belgium are coming up on the back of them, and this, if that kart goes through, that will put MS Belgium on the same lap. And if that 36 of Rye House Bandits needs to pit again, what has been a great run so far towards a podium could come to a grinding halt for the 36 of Rye House Bandits. This move, if the 443 of MS.BE can get through, then that will put them back onto the same lap. They head down towards Rib. Can't get through down there. There's a couple of other owner karts in the mix as well. Modernised in behind as well, and the 42 in 4th place is going to come through in a moment as well.
Interesting one here, David. Modernised Racing, the 006, have pitted 1 hour 14 since their last pit stop, with 2 hours and 44 to go.
So MS Belgium there actually got through, but they are due as well into the pit shortly, so that could be short-lived on the same lap.
I just hope there's not a problem here for the 006. I worry that that's a little bit early. That's 5 minutes too early than what would have been perfect to get to another 1 hour 20 in the can, and get yourself within distance where another 1 hour 20 stint gets you back into the fuel bay, and only needing one stop to get to the finish.
You know,
just keep an eye on this.
Are in the 6, and whilst they're in, MS Belgium are going to continue, but they're due in shortly. Just want to have a quick look at the comments on the YouTube. Josh Cook asked, did anything happen in the night? Well, we had plenty of full course yellows as they had some problems. Almost all of our clubman teams had a 2 or 3 lap problem at some point, but the leaders all stayed within half a minute of each other. Lee Delamere wants to know what TT and PS stand for on the right side of the timing column on Alpha Timing, which you can follow the timing at live.alphatiming.co.uk/24HR, so /24 hour. Now you can only see the column with PS and TT on if you're looking at the live timing on the laptop. PS is pit stops, the number of times that the kart has been through pit lane. TT is the time since the kart was last in the pit lane. And especially if you're watching our owner karts, with the exception of Offline Motorsports, who have been on a fuel-saving mission, an hour and 20 to an hour and 25 is about as much as these karts are running this year to get them in. Nigel Gary Smith wants to know how much coffee we've drunk, and I'll be honest with you, I've only had one. I've done really well, but I can guarantee when my shift finishes on comms in around 42 minutes and I hand it back to Howard Mitchell, once I know I'm done, I will fall off a metaphoric cliff.
Yes.
And the adrenaline that you have of just being at a 24-hour race, knowing that my job is done, will just drain from my body, and I will slump into a heap in the corner of, well, I'll go down to our porter cabin and I'll probably just fall into a heap in the corner for probably around an hour, but I'll be back to watch the final hour from the pit wall. I'll be down in the paddock having a walk round. If anything late happens, we will cover what is happening there. I'm sure if any kart comes off unscheduled, Andrew will quickly switch to the WhatsApp group that we've got, just to where we get updates of what's happening down in the paddock. That's what happened earlier with the 303 in the middle of the night. They came in just as I was down there with their problem, and we notified from the other side of the complex here at the Teesside circuit as to what their problem was. MS Belgium do eventually come into the pit lane, so that gives the Rye House Bandits a little bit of respite in third place. Gap opens up by another lap back to MS Belgium.
Our record at the moment, 2 coffees, 2 teas. We had one on the way up the A1. That powered us through that. Tea when we got here. A coffee just as we came back on for stint 2. That was very much needed. And then Sam Nash from, well, formerly of Brunel Racing. He kindly brought us some teas to the comms box. What was it, about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning? It was very well appreciated.
What a hero. He's here with the Rye House Bandits.
Yes.
One of their drivers. 6 driver lineup in that one. Sam Nash, Jeff Lamb, Chris Bell, Michael Hooton, Alex Berry and Mike Kimber. That's a higher kart in the gravel at Rib. Yellow flags out. The kart's managed to help himself out, but he's on the apex, isn't he? The yellow flag's out, so if any driver was to hit him, it's their own fault, isn't it? Hopeless disaster off in the gravel again, but the yellow's out there, and the yellow's out for a reason.
Yeah.
And if you come round there and you don't expect a kart to be parked on the apex, then you're not doing your job as a driver.
Just to mention the battle between SMJ C595 and MS.BE. MS.BE have just made a pit stop, so they should be good to get to the end with one more visit to the fuelers, the hard-working fuelers down by the porter cabins. The gap, though, is only 10.782 seconds between the 13th and 14th placed karts overall, so we'll, again, keep an eye on that battle, because that could go very much down to the wire there. And you never know with this Rye House Bandits number 36 seemingly nursing some wounds towards the end of this race. That could become a battle for third place on the Clubman podium. Gap between the two leaders is holding steady now around 25 seconds. Red Racing, Adam Nichols are responding in terms of pace. Just did a 1:14.007. Dave Robinson at 1:13.803.
Would not surprise me if Adam Nichols is getting lap by lap updates of what lap time that MS SoCo Select car is doing.
Yeah.
I know last year in the final stint he was being told exactly what the lap time of the kart behind them at the time, MS SoCo Select, was doing, just to give him the information that he needed. Now, just going back onto the socials. Javier Berenga wants to know what the name of the Larkhall Circuit Arrive and Drive team is. That's Rind Racing. They're racing with the number 20. They are currently in 65th place. Now, we spoke about them a number of times, as they have got quite a driver lineup in terms of numbers. I think they've got nearly 10 drivers, because some of them worked yesterday at the circuit and have come here today. Some of them that raced here yesterday have gone back to work today. So they've done a swap. Other observations is...
oh, trouble for Rye House. Trouble for Rye House Pro Karting. Sorry, David. Just as they were coming through turn 1, that was a Rye House Pro Karting Bandits entry in trouble on the way down to Rib Bend. 3rd place in Clubman. Don't know if we can get the shot down at the mountain to see if they're coming round, but we have been watching that number 36. It's had trouble on the right-hand side with the side pod coming loose. Has it come loose enough? Has it damaged the right rear tyre?
Just waiting to
and
see
there
if
they
it
are.
reappears.
They're struggling to get up the mountain here. This is drama. This is drama late on.
If an engine's gone, that's not going to get up the hill. And we were seeing before, that area is like a blind spot in terms of camera at night. And we were struggling to see a number of karts, but so many karts were struggling to get up the hill. But 3rd place, Rye House Bandits, are going very slowly, and that car is on its way to the pit lane, and that is an engine problem. Is he going to try and see if he can start that on his own? See if he can reach round for the cable. I think he is going to give it. It's easier to do on the right side than the left because you can reach the pull start. But Rye House Bandits from 3rd place, and SMJC595, who were in 5th place 10 minutes ago, could be back up into the top 3. The arm is up to let everybody else know that that kart is going slowly. The yellow flag is out to notify them as well.
The tyre's fine. The tyre, so it's not the bodywork making contact with the tyre. It's just a load of dust that's being kicked up there.
Because he's going round South Bank offline, and it's going to be dusty out there because nobody's really used it. Karts are going to have to go round the outside, and that kart is now offline. Will come into pit lane. So at least they have managed to get it back, but the problem appears to be a right side engine.
And they've got a load of traffic right ahead of them. I wonder if they just dive... Oh, there's a Nassau panel for a number 17 that's not attached to a go-kart. I just wondered... Got to wait to be weighed, of course, but do they head straight down into the paddock? When did they last pit?
Straight through crew are missing their
20 minutes ago, so they should have fuel on board.
Now zero panel, and I think they will be invited in to have that refitted.
Oh, what a shame for the RHPK squad, the Rye House Bandits. They have been in the mix for the class win for a very, very long time, but then here in the last hour just shows that reliability issues can strike at any time. They've been running so well.
So that kart is being fueled up, but obviously with 20 minutes since their last stop, they are taking the opportunity to top that tank up.
Actually, yeah, that makes sense, because then they can run on and only need to come back in another time. So effectively, that's a splash and dash done early. Yeah, we're having a look at the 66A66 car. Ross Jordan driving for them at the moment. They've had a really good race.
Andrew, that cart's not gone down into the paddock. It's being pushed to pit lane. And it was the same place they were before when they were trying to sort out the problem. So they've not gone down into the paddock to try and sort that. They've gone pit lane, and they're going to have a look at it on the right-hand side. Somebody's gone running. I imagine that's for a spanner or a tie wrap of some sort, just to help something on that cart. I think now they might end up taking that one down into the paddock.
Also in the pits at the moment, PGS Racing and Team Backmarker both came in 1 hour and 12 minutes ago. So this is going to be the penultimate pit stop for both of those teams in 8th and 9th places respectively. 2 laps separating them. Sorry, no, 1 lap separating them at the moment.
So Rye House have now eventually gone down into the paddock, but they've pushed the cart the long way round. I think they were hoping to get the problem resolved in pit lane. They've had to go all the way round now and back down. So that in itself has cost them 30 to 40 seconds.
And they have now lost third and fourth place in Clubman confirmed. So last year's class winners back onto the podium. SMJ C595, MS.BE are now 14.5 seconds away from a spot on that class podium. You'll just see PGS and Team Backmarker coming back out the pit lane. They've got a little bit of a gap to modernised karting, the number 24 behind, who are 3 laps further down the road, and owing as a pit stop in the next
Straight
10 to
through
15
crew
minutes.
have been brought in under a black flag to have their Nauseo panel refitted. That's going to cost them a little bit of time to get that fixed. At the head of the field though, 24 seconds, split the 2 leaders.
Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, is that a regular pit stop? MS Soko Selector stopped. Fueled. 1 minute 19. Sorry, we missed that. In fact, yes, one of the karts that we saw coming out of the pit lane was MS Soko Select. So they've elected to go with 2 hours and 32 to go. So they'll be doing 1 hour 16 or thereabouts to the end. They're just doing a bit of short fueling now.
So that was a gap of 24 seconds, and we now wait for Red Racing to pit and then to go out for us to see what the gap's going to be. So it's going to be +1 lap for the next 15 minutes or so until Red Racing come into their pit lane. Class leaders in Clubman though, 303 Racing, and there's a birthday down in the paddock for one of their team members, Chris. Happy birthday, Chris, at 303. Hopefully your team can give you the perfect present in 2.5 hours time with a class win in the Clubman class, currently 10th overall for 303. Blue Dog are back into the top 20 in the 888, pushing the Kart Events Belgium entry.
We're at the bottom of the hour.
Down, and that means that you're going to run through our
indeed.
order.
So, with 2 hours and 30 minutes here at Teesside for the 2020 British 24 hour to go, here is your rundown from Double Dash Motorsport Media of the order. Your leader is the 130 of Red Racing with 1,029 laps completed, but owing as a pit stop in the next 10 or 15 minutes. The number 43 of MS Soko Select are on the timing 1 lap behind. They've just pitted. Third place, having had dramas in the last hour or so, is the 111 of MS JSR. They are now 3 laps off the overall lead. Fourth place is number 42 of MS Lucas, a further 2 and a bit laps behind. Fifth place and leading in Pro is the number 11 of MS Karts. They are 9 laps off the overall lead, and they've still got that 6-lap lead in class over the 115 of Team Keen. The lean offline machine, Offline Motorsports 77, are still in 7th place, looking good for at least a podium in the Pro class, possibly more, as they sort out their strategy and maybe go hard for it at the end of this race. They are 20.4 seconds behind Team Keen at the moment. 8th place overall, 4th place in Pro is the 390 of PGS Racing. 9th place overall, 5th place in Elite is the 210 of Team Backmarker. And then let's get into our Clubman ranks. Still in the lead in Clubman, 10th overall is the 303 of 303 Racing. 2nd place in Clubman, 11th overall is the 006 of Modernised Racing. Now back up to 3rd in Clubman after the bad luck for Rye House is the SMJC 595. That's number 595. Just short of 1,000 laps at the moment. So last year's Clubman winner back into the top 3, but being hounded in 13th place, 13th place overall, 4th in Clubman, the 443 of MS.BE. The gap between those two is 19.256 seconds. 14th overall at the moment, but still in the pit lane. They haven't re-emerged as the 036 of the Rye House Bandits, so they may be about to lose that position to the currently scored in 15th place, and there it is, the 024 of Modernised Karting. 16th now, the 019 of the Frosterley Inn, who have got a 3-lap gap to the Rye House Bandits, so we'll see if that starts to close in. 17th place, a further lap behind, is the 198 of DW Racing. 18th overall, the 780 of Topwith Motorsport Trico. Team with Sarah Moore and Gemma Moore in there. 19th place overall, the 340 of TT Sport. 20th overall, the 888 of Blue Dog. That's all clubman runners there from 10th down to 20th. Let's get into the hires then. Still leading in hire with this remarkable story by 4 clear laps at the moment. In 21st overall is the number 6 Kart Events.BE, Kart Events Belgium there. As we say, they are ahead of, in 22nd place overall, 2nd in hire, Team ETL. And then Kart Events Belgium are making up the podium at the moment. 23rd overall, the number 066 Kart Events Belgium. They are 6 laps behind ETL at the moment. But crucially, a lap ahead of A66, the number 66 in 24th place. 25th is the 987 of Eco Racing. 26th is the 84 of Lockwell Hill Karting. 27th is the 015 of Bradley Shepherd Racing. 28th is the number 33 of BTM Racing UK. 29th is the 91 of Team Tate. 30th is the 430 of NRG Global Power. 31st is the 111 of JS Racing. We're all in teams now that have had some dramas over the course of the last 21.5 hours or so. Who was next? Century Sim Racing, number 59 in 32nd place. 33rd, the 169 of Euro Bandits. 34th, the 38 of SRW Racing. 35th, the 113 of Core Blimey Racing. There's Connor Botting on your screen at the moment. 36th, the number 11 of G3 Pro. 37th, the 067 of the Swindon Karting Arena Racing Team. 38th, the number 85 of the English Deaf Karting Team 24-hour racing team. 39th, the 555 of the renowned Vankels. 40th, wrapping out the top 40, the 466 of A66-2. 41st at the moment, the 187 of Jibtech. 42nd, the 34 of BTM UK2. 43rd, the 095 of Race Rubin. 44th, the 52 from Zap. 45th, in fact has taken 45th recently here, is our co-commentator Tom Butterworth, driving for Piston Broke Racing. And 46th, the kart that they took the spot off, the number 81 of Hopeless Disaster, Matt Williams currently at the wheel for them. 47th, the 200 of Boneheads. 48th, the 270 of DEER. 49th, the 040 of CMC Racing. Still plugging away, still trying to pick up positions overall, the Clubman Kart. 50th, the number 99 of Porsche Sport. 51st, 71 of Grabex Racing. 52nd, the number 10 of 3 Blind Mice. 53rd, the number 42 of the BUKC Rejects. 54th, the 36 of Adrenico Racing. There they are on screen. Sam Lovelace currently driving for them. 55th, the number 70 of LMS. 46th, the number 45 of BH Designs Racing. 57th, the number 1 of Teesside Tigers. 58th, the number 9 of the Newmarket Hornets. 59th, the number 40 of Pace Limited, wrapping out the top 60 at the moment. The number 14 of the Algorithmic Ascendancy. 61st, the 141 of RDT Racing. 62nd, the number 17 of the Straight Through Crew. 63rd, the number 37 of Two Strokes. 64th, the number 7 of Team Carter. 65th, the number 20, the team from Larkhall Karting Club, Rind Racing there. 66th, the number 30 of Curiosity Killed the Kart. 67th is the number 82 of ZBR. 68th, the 48 of Century Simpleton. 69th, the number 59 of Kart Force. 70th, the number 47 of Team Solan, Daniel Cheeseman currently driving for them. 71st, the 61 of Alessia. That's another one of the Clubman karts that had the significant amount of damage in the middle of the night. Great to see that still running again. Good pace at the moment, 1:15.9 last time around. 72nd is the number 24 of Ain't Gonna Win. 73rd. The last kart of those running out on circuit at the moment is the last of the Club and Karts. Why so serious? AMF, CTR, NE1 Racing and Shirley Bassey all in the pits at the moment, but hopefully we will see them in the next couple of hours, hopefully to take the checkered flag.
Andrew, thank you very much for the bottom of the hour rundown. Andrew Mather there alongside myself, David Sullivan in the commentary box for the next 20 minutes before I hand over to Howard Mitchell to take us through until the checkered flag at midday.
Modernised karting in the pits for a standard stop. 1 hour 24 since they were last in.
And we are expecting our leader in the next couple of laps. So before they come in, just going to have a quick look at the social media. Stephen Thomas is on. He runs the modernised outfit. Both of their teams had problems yesterday, and they've come back really, really well to get themselves into a position. Realistic 1 to 10 has been on. Do they swap drivers? The answer to that is yes. Teams run anywhere between 2 and normally 6 drivers. We've got a yellow flag out.
G3 Pro. G3 Pro off in hairpin number 1. They've got going again the number 11.
So that was good for them. Just having a quick look. Yeah, so between 2 and 8 drivers normally for teams. 6 is around about the optimum for the hires. A lot of the owner teams will run as a 4 or a 5, just to give you an idea on team size.
Modernised karting number 24 just emerging from the pit lane there. I feel so sorry for the Rye House Bandits. They've just re-emerged from the pits. They have lost 12 minutes, which will have felt like an absolute age. What a shame. They were on for a potential fight for a podium in class. That has gone now, and they'll have to come back another year to try and get future glory in this race. I'm sure they will. It's a great championship down there at Rye House, the RHBK. Lucky enough to commentate on it before. Great bunch of people. A championship run by Mark Beaumont. Fantastic team, but I'm sure all of them are a little bit disconsolate at the moment, having whatever that issue was. We'll try and find out what happened to them. But yeah, sad to see that for an effort that was running really well there, David.
Yeah, they performed superbly. They were a team that we've had a number of leaders actually in this class throughout the evening, with 303 Racing, Modernised, SMJC and the Rye House Bandits at some point all leading that class. And disappointment for the Rye House outfit, although hopefully they take the positives away from the weekend after they've had an opportunity to digest the situation. They've run right on the pace in the clubman class, and had things gone slightly differently, they would have been up there for a win. Full Noon Racing has been on the social media actually and asked about the 111 MSJSR outfit, asking if they had problems in the night. No, the night was fine for them. It was early morning that they had their problem. It was just after I came on for my third stint on comms, just gone 6:30, that car ended up losing 2 laps and moved itself out as the leading kart, the Red Racing number 13, has come into the pit lane, and it looks like Adam Nichols is going to hand over the wheel to Charlie Bingham in that kart. The unmistakable yellow and blue helmet with the orange flick across the front and the checker on the top of Charlie Bingham, and it looks like he's going to take over the reins from Adam Nichols, and then it's going to be interesting to see who goes in that kart next. Let's have a quick look. And no, that's a decoy. Charlie Bingham was down in pit lane with his race suit on, with his helmet on, ready to go, and Adam Nichols is going to double stint the number 13 kart. You should hopefully see them in a few moments. There he is. Adam Nichols is going to go for almost 3 hours in that number 13 Red Racing Kart in the lead. We'll wait for them to come round and over the line to see what the gap is. It was 24 seconds when MS Soko Select went into the pit lane around about 20 minutes ago, and now Red Racing will stay in the lead, but at the expense of what gap? So mind games being played down there by the Red Racing outfit with Charlie Bingham in the seat, and I know teams will often try and match their drivers with somebody of a similar pace, or you know, somebody they think is potentially just a fraction quicker. So mind games before that change there. Charlie Bingham was ready, and I can't help but feel it was basically just going to be a question of, do you want to go again? How are you feeling? Yes, I can do it. I'm going again. So I wouldn't be surprised now then to see Charlie bring that one home, having Adam done almost 3 hours at the wheel of that number 13 Red Racing Kart. And there is your leader going into the Corkscrew Mountain section. They will now hook that kart to the right-hand side and over the off-camber right-hand corner. The leader's going to go round the outside. As you know, he's going to go to the inside of the 91. That's the Team Tate hire kart. Team Tate made up of some of our senior pro kart drivers here in the sprint series in that number 91. So 3 Tates in that: Scott Tate, Dan Tate and Mark Tate, all run at the head of the field. Also in there, David Brown and Connor White. I think David Brewis should have been in that, although might not have been able to race, and I haven't really seen him in that seat. So 5 driver outfit for Team Tate in the hire kart class, and they were one of the 10 karts in the battle to get into 10th place earlier on. We had 10 karts, Andrew, all on the same lap.
Yep.
All battling for 10th place in the hire kart class. So incredibly tight down in the battle for top 10 in the hires.
28.277 seconds is your gap.
So they
first
put
second.
3 seconds is the extra time that Red Racing have found through the pit stop, and now both of our leaders, Red Racing and MS Soko Select, if they don't have any problems, will only need to visit pit lane one more time. And do you think that, certainly for Red Racing, do you think they may just be hoping for a full course yellow just to give them peace of mind, or do you think that will close the pack up too much for them to want to wish that one?
Yeah, I think Red Racing just wants a nice, clean,
it's going to go down the inside
green race between now and midday. Yeah. MS Soko Select would like a full course yellow at the moment, because of course, you know, they're slightly having to be mindful of the fuel. They last pitted with 2 hours and 30 minutes to go of this race, so they should be fine, because of course they can go 1 hour 20. We know they can go out 1 hour 20 and give themselves a stop towards the end. Probably what would be the case if there was a full course yellow now, that would maybe play a little bit more into MS Soko Select's hand, because they could save a bit of fuel on that one. But then again, Red Racing would be doing exactly the same. I think for MS Soko Select, they're just looking at that time. 27.7 seconds now. Obviously, if there was a full course yellow, that would bunch everything up again. And
that's Paul Wilkins at the wheel of that. Behind him, Connor Lucas is back at the wheel of the 111 MS JSR. And there he is in the background. And now, with that kart being out of contention, Andrew, do you think that that's going to try and work together with the 33 to try and push that, with the 43 to try and push that 43 through, or do you think that Connor still thinks that 111 is still in with an outside chance?
I think we're about to find out here what the thoughts of the 111 are, because Connor Lucas has arguably been the fastest driver at Teesside this weekend, just going past the 115 there of Team Keen and sizing through the traffic now. But MS, they want to keep that title in their ranks. I think they kind of have to work together, as off is the number 20.
Rind Racing, that's the Lark Hall based team.
Yeah, that's down at
They
Rib
are
Bend.
out, and that they're going to struggle to get that on the track. There's a divot there, isn't there?
Yeah.
That's going to require a push, and if they take the driver out, it's 80 kilos lighter, so that'll help. So that cart is done. He's going to head off in the right direction now. Still stuck. There we go. He's managed to get it sorted. He's going to be slow though, isn't he? On the apex on the outside. Get caught. That's the Team Carter, number 7, with the 24-hour Le Mans style nose panel.
I tell you what though, the pace of the MS carts at the moment working together, they've just taken a second out of Red Racing in the first sector alone. This could be a very interesting tactic employed by the two MS entries.
Yeah, well, we just mentioned Connor Lucas, who leads our sprint series here at Teesside, champion here in the sprint series last year. Champion before him, Adam Nichols in the 13. Red Racing, so the last two sprint series champions that we had here at Teesside, currently running in 1 and 2. And Connor Lucas last season won the first 20 races, and I'm sure that he could probably go a couple of tenths quicker if he wanted. But I think he's been sent out with a job to do, and that job is to push that 43 cart as fast as they can down the straight. And Tom and I were discussing yesterday about the benefits, even in karting, of getting a toe in the slipstream as the cart at the front punches a hole through the air. The cart behind doesn't have to punch the hole. And there you see Connor Lucas right up the back. And this is how MS Soco Select are going to try and get on the back. They've sent Connor Lucas out to do a job in the 111 MS JSR cart, and now you see the benefit of running a number of carts with evenly matched drivers as a team, and Connor Lucas is making no attempt whatsoever to get past Paul Wilkins in that 43.
Just going past Tim Morangan there in the 227 piston broke racing entry in 45th place. But this is a fascinating dynamic now as to how do Red Racing approach this. How can Red Racing approach this? They've got the advantage maybe on a bit of time required in the pit lane because they've got more fuel, or they've got more space to play around with the fuel between now and the end of the race, but they don't have a Connor Lucas pushing them along.
No, and it's going to be interesting to see in 25 minutes when that 111 needs to come into the pit lane to refuel, whether they tactically send it out as Connor Lucas stamps on the brakes and throws that cart sideways to get it stopped. And they're going to couple up onto the back of the TMS Trico cart, and they're going to use that as a slipstream down the straight before they duck out round the South Bank corner. Wilkins thought about it, didn't he?
Well, they're pushing hard. They're 1.4 seconds quicker a lap than Red Racing at the moment. The gap is down to 24.2 seconds at the last count. We're about to get an update on that, but they have had traffic on this lap.
And like I was saying, Connor Lucas is going to have to come into the pits in 20 to 25 minutes in that 111, and it's whether they wait to send it back out at the same point in the track, or whether they send it out and slow it down, because it's currently quite comfortable in 3rd place, so that it comes back out with the 43 again.
And the cart further behind is another MS cart as well, so they can definitely play the team game here. Even in that traffic, another 7/10 of the lead went for Red Racing. This is starting to hot up. This could be a nail-biting last couple of hours here at Teesside Autodrome, because MS Soco Select and MS JSR as a joint force are trying to wrestle back their title as reigning British 24-hour champions here at Teesside. They do not want to be seeing it going in the direction of the Haase chassied Red Racing team. And again, the sector times so far have been pretty good for the MS boys. We're about to get another update on what the pace is like, and you can just see them throwing up a 1:12.9. That is astonishing pace at this stage of the race, and considering that MS SoCo Select is on tyres, unless it's had another tyre change, which I don't think it has, it's on tyres that are some 14 hours old, and the gap, is down to 22.6 seconds.
Well, they changed tyres on that because they felt the tyres weren't giving them the pace that was required early on. They changed them about 8 o'clock last night. So they are now running on tyres that have probably seen better days, unless they put the original set back on. But I don't think they've spent enough time in the pits for that to happen. And now, with the exception of the odd hire kart getting in between them, as did at the chicane, but now they are back nose to tail, down the back straight, and they've got the entirety of South Bank to themselves and clear track for at least half a lap as they go into hairpin 3. We are closing in on 2 hours remaining, and this has now really become a tactical battle that's brought into play the third place MS JSR kart, but not in the way that we'd have thought. MS JSR were in for the win a couple of hours ago, and now they are riding shotgun to the 43, the current reigning and defending 24-hour British champions, MS SoCo Select, who are fighting, and they are fighting hard to keep that trophy.
Nichols responding though, a 1:13.0 last time around for Red Racing. The gap goes back up to nearly 24 seconds. So it's tit for tat at the moment between the top 2 runners. The MS karts just go past the renowned Vankel's entry, and another one of the TMS supported entries there. Oh, it's the 015, it's Bradley Shepherd Racing. At this pace, I mean, this is just what 24-hour racing, especially here at Teesside, is all about. You know, many of the hours leading up to this point is about survival and setting yourself up for the final sprint. And what a sprint we have in store here. Just looking at the sector times again, strong for the MS entries. Well, that was very even actually. This is really, really good from Adam Nichols. He is digging really deep here. You only lost a tenth or so, and that's okay if you can keep it at around that 23.8 second gap. Keep that MS SoCo Select kart at an arm's length. They've got more than a chance here.
Yeah, very much so. Nicholas Woodhouse has made a very interesting point. He says the MS karts look to be running bigger fuel tanks than Red Racing. And we ran through this with Adam Nichols earlier on in the race.
Yeah.
And he believes that's the case as well. However, the regulations state that there is a maximum fuel capacity for the tank, and the MS karts are running to the maximum, and the tank on the Haas kart, the Red Racing kart, is smaller than that permitted.
Yeah.
And that's a decision that either Haas have made or the Red Racing outfit have made. But in any case, MS SoCo Select do have a slightly longer fuel window. I think it's only going to be about 5 minutes, and I think now, as we spoke, it really doesn't matter because they're both fairly comfortable in the window.
Another 1:12.9 from MS SoCo Select. MS JSR, surprisingly, very close on lap time as well, a 1:13.0. That takes another 7/10 out of the lead. The pace is still pretty good from Red Racing. Number 24, modernised karting entry, just having a little check of the fuel tank there, which should be fine because they only pitted about a quarter of an hour ago. Who else have we got coming up to a pit stop maybe? The Frosterly Inn are coming up for another pit stop, so they'll need to visit. Anyone visiting the pits now is going to need to make some level of splash and dash in the last hour of the race.
Yeah, Team Keen are probably due for it to come in.
Yeah.
But behind them, offline, are at 1 hour and 10 minutes. And if they can push that out to an hour and 35, which we know they can do,
Yep.
they could get over the line on fumes with only one stop and not require the same splash and dash that Team Keen do. And at 18 seconds, if they maintain that gap at this side of 30 seconds, they are going to pip Team Keen, and that's going to be an enthralling battle for second place in that class as Team Keen peel off into the pit lane for their fuel stop. So they're definitely going to need a splash and dash. They can't get it to the end. But now, Offline Motorsport, I imagine they're going to be lifting and coasting as much as they can possibly lift and coast whilst maintaining a reasonable lap time.
Same as well for SMJC, David. The 595, there's a yellow out down at the bottom of the hill. They're in the pits. They're in a little bit earlier than I was expecting. 1 hour 10 since their last stop. So they're going to have to make this pit stop plus one more.
Looks like
to get
Josh
them to the
Henderson's going back out in the 595.
MS.BE though, well, where can they get? Well, they've got to do 2 more stops as well because they pitted 35 minutes ago. So even if they, no, they might be able to stretch this. If they can do another 40 minutes, which is definitely possible for MS.BE, they might only have 1 stop left. This could be a crucial stop for SMJC, and they have struggled with their pit stops, and again, that's not particularly quick. 1 minute 37 for a pit-affected first sector, and that pops them behind MS.BE. They've got to push now. They've really got to push, as this is all shaking itself out, because they've got another stop to do. MS.BE, they can get through another 40 minutes, which would take them up to 77 minutes on this current stint, so it's doable. It's more than doable. They'll only have to pit 1 more time as things stand. I think we've got MS.BE in a check situation for a podium in Clubman.
Just want to check in on the higher class because we've been that enthralled with the tactical pursuit of the MS karts of the Red Racing that we just want to check in. Kartevents.BE are still comfortably 4 laps in front of Team ETL at the head of that, with the second Kart Events Belgium in 3rd. A66 are 4th, Eco Racing 5th, Lockwell Hill are in 6th. BSR have come right back through the field after a treacherous first few hours into 7th. BTM are in 8th. Team Tate and Global Power are the top 10 in that class, and then JS Racing are in the mix as well. Jack Dodsworth in that kart at the moment.
Unfortunate news, the AAA Blue Dog entries continue to have some problems. They've now slipped down to 22nd position. They've lost a number of minutes in the last hour or so. As I say, they are currently in pit lane and have been for a while.
One thing to note whilst we've moved away is that whilst MS SoCo Select did start closing the gap, it has plateaued at around 23 seconds.
Yes.
And so I'm going to have a quick look out and have a look where the 13 of Adam Nichols is, just to see whether he's in some clean air or whether he's found somebody. He is still running by himself, and the one thing that is good to note now is that at the end, because everybody that's out on track has seen that number 13 car in the lead for so long, when they look over their shoulder, they know that the leader is coming through, and it's noticeable that everybody is giving that number 13, as you would expect at this time in a race, an extra half a kart width. Because one thing you don't want to do is be that driver that wipes the leader out in the final few hours of an endurance race.
Absolutely.
Where everybody's put so much effort in. We are 1,054 laps into the 2020 British 24-hour race here from Teesside Karting in Middlesbrough, the northeast of England. Pictures brought to you by Alpha Live Productions on their YouTube channel and also on Facebook via Teesside Karting and at 24 Karting, and we are kindly sponsored by NRG Cycles and NRG Global Power, giving us the opportunity to bring you all 24 hours of the 2020 running of the British 24 Hour to you. Thank you very much for joining us.
In pit lane for the penultimate time, fingers crossed. The number 780 of Tockwith Motorsports Trico. They've just clocked 1,001 laps on the board. It's a standard pit stop. Pretty good pit stop as well, 1 minute 30 for their pit effective first sector. So they will need to do a bit of a splash and dash towards the end if they run another 1 hour 20. Or they may do it in this next section run for half an hour or so. Come back in, bring the tank, and go to the end. So of course, we have seen full course yellows in the last hour or so of this race. The gap continuing to come down though. 21.484 is now the gap between first and second place. And the 112.775 for the 43. 112.788. I mean, Adam Nichols is giving it everything in the red racing machine. He did a 113.724 himself, which is by far quicker than anything else out on circuit, apart from those two MS machines, who really are wringing everything out of those karts now. They have to. They have to if they're going to retain this title. As there's a spin, I think, for the 34 TT Sport Clubman kart. Yeah, just coming out of hairpin number 2. They've got going again now. And then more time out now. Another set of 1 minute 12.7s. 20.5 is now the gap. And I just wonder as well with MS SoCo Select, they've had a driver by the name of a certain Mr. D. Robinson finish these races before and bring home the bacon for them. He's obviously not out on track at this moment.
No, interesting to see what they do. If Paul Wilkins keeps putting these laps in, obviously assisted with the push of Connor Lucas, it wouldn't surprise me if those two go out again.
Yeah.
The 11 is in, and the 11 is in with some problems, real problems. The rear bumper of the 11 is grinding on the wheel, and the leading kart in the pro class is in for an unscheduled pit stop. They've got a 6-lap gap, so don't be surprised to see them go back out in the lead still. But that is an unscheduled stop for the number 11.
And just what we've been saying through this entire race, who's there, second place on the road at the moment. I know we're still playing these strategies out, but who's there potentially to pick up the pieces if this is a long stop for the MS karts? The number 77, Offline Motorsport. They are not out of this.
No, that kart's gone down into pit lane. It needs to have around about an 8 or 9 minute stop, which is a long time for a bumper and a rear wheel, because the bumper just will, they'll take the rear wheel off, give the bumper a good hammering. At worst, they'll just unscrew the bumper and put a new one on. So I can't see them in taking 6 laps, but who knows what's caused that problem. And we will see where the MS kart number 11 returns back out onto track in due course as your leader bounces that kart over the curbs.
MS karts were held up on that last lap. They still cut some time away. It's less than 20 seconds now.
Now, mechanical sympathy's gone out of the window with 2 hours remaining, and Adam Nichols is wringing everything he can out of that number 13 kart, because behind him, MS SoCo Select and MS JSR, the MS outfit in general, have played their hand. The cards are on the table and they are working together to close the gap down. Thank you, as always, for joining us. And if you are just waking up, enjoying your breakfast and the final few hours of the British 24-hour race here from Teesside Karting, the story of the morning has been that Red Racing took the lead in the early hours of the morning and have held it with a gap of around about 25 seconds ever since, with the exception of the offset pit stops. Our teams now are both only requiring one further stop, should everything go to plan. But MS Soco Select are being given a helping hand by the sister kart MS JSR in order to try and close the gap to Adam Nichols. And I tell you what, Adam Nichols, working on his own, is doing a phenomenal job just to hold the gap at anywhere around 19 to 20 seconds. And that MS JSR car is due in the pits in the next 10 minutes. And as we mentioned, it's going to be very interesting to see where that kart gets sent back out. That's Josh Thompson in the 42. How long have they been out? Because his hand's up in the air.
31 minutes.
Asking questions of the pit wall. Now, Josh Thompson, he's a pro sim racer affiliated with Williams Esports.
Yep.
Done a couple of stints already, but gesticulating to the pit wall. The problem, and our pit lane chicane has been skittled. The marshal is putting them back together, so Kart's been through them at some point, so he's obviously coming a little bit hot into the pit lane. Marshall's doing a grand job to put that back into place.
Hello to Darian Quinn. Man, this has true classic endurance feel. I love it. We love it too, Darian. Thanks for your comments there on the YouTube stream. Keep them coming in.
I agree. I'm due at some point to hand.
Oh, who's that in trouble? It's the 595. The 595 in trouble. This is big in Clubman. This is one of the.
That's a puncture.
Gone rear left,
and he's going to try and miss the chicanes out. And now let's see. He's going to go all the way down round South Bank. But the 595 has missed the chicanes and the hairpins out. Whilst that's going to gain a little bit of time, and not exactly in the spirit of things, if he'd have gone round a hairpin with that tyre as it is, there's every chance that could have come off the rim and we'd have had quite a dangerous situation. The problem now is if anybody comes into the pits, because that kart's going to be difficult to move once it's up and off on the weighbridge. But the SMJC 595 kart have run into problems again. Their race has been far from trouble-free, and they've elected not to fuel it. So he's just put.
Yeah, well, they only pitted 7 minutes ago, so that makes sense. But MS.BE are looking even more in a good position now for that third place in class. This really is hotting up this 2020 edition of the British 24 Hour here. Our second and third place working together at the moment to try and hunt down Adam Nichols. And Adam Nichols' pace, I do not know where he's getting this from, David. This is remarkable. A 1:12.952 from Nichols last time around. He's just getting eyes forward. He's hoping as well, please, 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 do not put a full course yellow out at this stage of the race. And SMJC have possibly helped him there by keeping that kart going, getting it in the pits, not stopping it, not spewing debris all over the circuit. But this is fascinating stuff here. You can't call it for me, David, at this stage.
No,
it is too close.
Enthralling action, and unfortunately I'm due to hand over the reins in the commentary box in the next 5 minutes or so to Howard Mitchell, and it will be a reluctant handover, that's for sure, because with 1 hour and 50 to go, I'd love to stay in the commentary box with the exciting action that's happening. The battle for the lead rages on with 20 seconds remaining. Sorry, 20 seconds between the lead karts, and there is second place MS Soco Select down the back straight. Behind him, riding shotgun, Connor Lucas in the third place, 111, making no attempt whatsoever to overtake that 43 kart. And we saw them earlier coming down the back straight. The nose cone of the 111 shoved right into the number board of the 43. There it is again, coming through, pushing that kart, pushing it on closer and closer as the time counts down towards the back of the number 13 red racing kart. We are under 20 seconds now between the two leading karts. and MS Soco Select are doing everything they can to ensure that the British 24-hour trophy goes back to Oldham with them, where it has lived for a number of years. However, Red Racing at the front would love to see that trophy go back to the Stretton circuit in Leicestershire, and they will do everything they possibly can in the remaining 1 hour and 47 minutes to ensure that they are taking the silverware with them when the checkered flag drops.
SMJC 595 back up and running. Really good response from the team that look like our outgoing clubman champions. They've got back out ahead of modernised karting. The gap is still 4 laps, but unfortunately they are now 2 laps down on the podium positions, and not a lot of time to fight back here.
Now, in that clubman class, should 303 Racing hold on, and they have got 2.5 laps in lieu at the moment, that will be, for me, one of the most popular wins of an endurance race. Like, the 303 guys are just so nice. I was mentioning through the night, Slavek, who runs their outfit, sent me 6 PDF pages, 1 for each of their drivers, and just superb guy. I was speaking to him as well. He does some work for Alpha as well, and that will be as popular win as it would be as if they won the overall race outright. That, however, I believe does bring my time at the British 24 Hours on commentary to an unfortunate close. I was hoping that Morgan would keep the door shut and keep Howard out for another 1 hour and 10. Oh, Alessia are off into the gravel. David Mack on flag, Mark Young on pushing duties. They've been busy this weekend down there at Rib, sorting that out. Alessia have been busy as well, fixing that number 61. But on that note, it does bring my time in the commentary box to a close. Thank you very much for sticking with us, though. And I will be back in 2 weeks' time on the 23rd of August for the next round of the Teesside Sprint Series here at the on the national circuit in Middlesbrough for our sprint round, which will be live and exclusive on Alpha Live.
And
there's
a problem for the 43.
I think they're just having a quick look and maybe a change round. But I could keep going and just talking about this battle, but at some point I'm going to have to turn the microphone off. So enjoy the rest of the race, guys, and if you're watching, please do join us on the 23rd of August for the sprint round. There's an arm up from Connor Lucas, though, so I will leave this as it is. He's due to box anyway soon, so I will hand over to the capable voice of Mr. Howard Mitchell. Thank you very much. I've been David Sullivan, and I will speak to you in a few weeks for our sprint round here at Teesside Karting.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you for all your hard work over the last 22 hours and 15 minutes. You're watching live coverage of the 24-hour karting series, the 2020 edition of the British 24-hour karting kart race. We're just doing a bit of a do-si-do in comms. And Howard Mitchell rejoins me for the last portion of this race to the checkered flag, mate. This one's felt very different for me this year so far. But in a good way. It's been another classic, because right now, with this time left on the board, I genuinely can't call this effort from the MS teams to pull back in Red Racing is going in the right direction for them. But at the same time, you know, we've been here before, mate, with the last couple of hours of this race, and anything can happen as Connor Lucas again has a little look at the fuel.
I feel like I'm getting a reputation for being uber poetic when I come onto comms each time, but I think after, given how curtailed racing has been these last few months, it's been so good to have this race where it has been so close across all of the classes. I know we're down a bit in numbers on some of the teams, although the ratio of owner karts to hire karts is different this year, and that's provided its own complexion to the race. But I've really enjoyed this. This has been an absolute treat. And as you say, that we're at this point, and we still can't call this, is absolutely fantastic. Can I just make a couple of points? The first point is, don't worry, mate. I didn't oversleep. I've been down in the paddock getting some interviews for Facebook. So do go and check those out. We've been talking to a host of teams. Thank you to all the teams who spoke to us, because I know when you've been going all night, and for some of them as well, who are right at the sharp end as well, it can be difficult to pull yourself away and you know, get a microphone shoved in your face and talk here at this point in the race. But thank you to everyone who spoke to us. Go over to the Facebook page. We'll get those cut and edited and up there as soon as we possibly can. And secondly, I do just want to make a slight correction to something that I said last night, which is regarding the Kart on screen, the 111 of MSJSR. I think I said that they managed to cut a groove in their tyre with the bumper, and that's what slowed them down.
Oh, okay.
That was my brain being a bit groggy on the wake up. Just before I came into comms for that midnight stint, they had an incident with Why So Serious where they went effectively over the top of Why So Serious, a big incident into hairpin 1. And yeah, just because I was still getting myself up to speed, and at exactly the same time, we did have a kart who started cutting a groove in their tyres, which I think might have been the 595. Again, sorry if they all got muddled in my head. So that's what put MSJSR back. I don't know if I'm correcting something that's been known for hours anyway, but just to get the record straight on that with what happened, because that's quite a crucial element as to why they are now 2 laps down on the kart that they find themselves in the wheel tracks off. But
they have had dramas in the last 2 hours as well, which has put them into this rear gunner, quite literally, position for the number 43. And it's going to be interesting to see what the teams do with this next stint. So on board the number 43, you're seeing it there, Paul Wilkins. Now he got into the kart, he took it over from Dave Robinson, as I say, 46 minutes ago. But at this pace, I would be tempted, if I were the team, to keep Wilkins in. Robinson has taken the anchor role before. He's taken that kart to victory in the anchor role before, but especially with him working so well with Connor Lucas, who's just pushing him along, I think they're going to keep him in. Now that then brings into question, what do Red Racing do? Adam Nichols out there at the moment. They threw the dummy last time round. We thought Charlie Bingham was going to be getting in the kart, but he didn't. Adam Nichols stayed in, but surely Adam Nichols, who's already into his second stint, he'll have done over 3 hours, or the best part of 3 hours at least, when they come to their pit stop in around 50 minutes time. Surely he's going to be absolutely exhausted. And do they throw Charlie Bingham in? But then, you know, Red Racing are going to have the shorter stint at the end of the race. Yeah, so it's like, you know, you're not asking a driver to do another 1 hour and 20 out there, Howard. It's like, can you do another 45? Yeah. And Adam might say yes. Yeah, I've just been talking to Martin Black from Red Racing, and he was talking about exactly that they should have the shorter stint. He's confident as well of quite a short final stop for them. Yep. It didn't go into too much detail as to exactly why, but he said he was confident of that. So without disclosing, you know, too much there, but yeah. So he described this very aptly, I think, as it's squeaky bum time. It is squeaky bum time. So that is certainly something. Oh, and that was nicely played though by Connor Lucas. Should be able to, if anything, give a bit of bump draft maybe down that straight. He's not quite that close, but. Hello to Howard. Hello to Dan Crossley. Gutted I can't be there. We're gutted you're not here as well, mate. We love watching you race here at Teesside. Been a huge part of this race in years gone by. And talking of the MS karts, he says they're going to have to pull something unreal out here. But if there is one team in these owner ranks who can do it, it is these guys. I'll say something, mate. They're certainly. Sorry, Howard, just to cut across, we've got crucial pit stop for Kart Events Belgium. This might be their last stop. They're currently in 20th. They had a little bit of a wobble earlier. We had another problem with exhaust, and Connor Lucas is in as well. So Kart Events Belgium pit. I reckon this could be their final stop. I reckon that's going to be Team ETL's final stop as well as they come in. And Connor Lucas, as we say, is in for MSJSR. That probably won't be their final stop. They might need a bit of a splash and dash towards the end. Now let's have a watch at this. This is going to be an interesting couple of laps. What is Paul Wilkins' pace like when he hasn't got his rear gunner in place? Is it still as good as it was?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an interesting one. And I should say as well, mate, since my last stint in the comms box, this slow and steady wins the race strategy, and I say slow in a mild sense for sure, of offline motorsport, it's gained them another place over the last few hours, hasn't it?
But look at this, they've done 1 hour 36 on this fuel. They've got 1 hour 37 to go. We know Team Keen have to make another pit stop in that pro class. It could be one pit stop each for second and third in pro. And we've also, in the last hour, seen drama for the MS Karts car. They are back out on circuit, though, after that damage and tyre rubbing. Yeah. But their lead is reduced to 4 laps. This is what I'm loving about this race. I mean, we've had some good ones in years gone by. We've seen close finishes at the front, but pretty much every single class has got something to talk about. The lead, can Red Racing hold on to this? Offline Motorsport, can they make this audacious strategy which they've been pulling since lap 1? Can they make it work? Can 303 Racing take a hugely popular victory in Clubman? And then you've got the two-man, I really don't have the words for it. This two-man effort from Kart Events Belgium through everything that they've been through in the last week. Can they take this victory in the hire karts, or are the bodies going to give out in the last hour? I
went, obviously going around to do these interviews, mate, went to see if there was anyone around the Kart Events Belgium stable. The answer's no. They're all committed. They're all doing something to keep this effort on the road. It is hugely, hugely impressive. Fair play to them
77's
for that.
In. This is it. This is the final pit stop for the 77 offline motorsport team. Second in pro. They've committed to this now. They will want every last drop of go juice in that kart to take them to the end to... I mean, they've got a good shot at least of third. Could be second, could be more.
Yeah, I've been thoroughly, thoroughly impressed by this effort, mate. Even, you know, however this pans out, I love seeing teams just, well, I say rolling the dice, that doesn't do it justice. Making a calculated, you know, attempt to do something a bit different and look at the race differently, analyse the race differently. What we love about this format of racing is the strategy element of it, and you can see that in abundance within that pro class. And offline motorsport have embodied that brilliantly, the way they've been able to stretch these stints out. Based on what we've seen them do, mate, they will comfortably make it to the end on that fuel, and if anything, they can maybe push a bit more towards the end based off of the performance that we've seen so far this race. But yeah, last stop for them, and this is them throwing down the gauntlet. We're done. We've done 4 pit stops less than you all. Yeah. Once it's all worked itself out, what are you going to do about it? And that's absolutely fantastic. Effort from them. Can I pick up on one thing as well that some of the drivers, whilst I've been going around, I've been asking them, what is it about this format of racing that you love? You know, we're all tired. We're all, you know, just hauling ourselves around. Everyone looks happy but shattered is a good way to... Why do we all do this? What is it that you love about doing it? A range of answers, but one common theme particularly, not necessarily what I would say back when I've done these races, because my body tends to be absolutely knackered and killing me, but they all talk about they love the amount of seat time that they get in this format of racing. You know, in terms of your seat time per unit cost, but just your seat time in general, and that ability to settle yourself in, bed yourself in, feel the car, craft a stint, and put in those mega performances as part of a wider team effort, I think is something that really appeals as part of this format.
Connor Lucas has stayed in the MSJSR. I don't think that's much of a surprise.
Nope.
He's not on the same bit of track though at the moment as Paul Wilkins. He's looking over his shoulder. He's trying to find him. We did wonder, would they hold the kart in the pit a little bit longer? Would they send it out and drop it back into the rear gunner position. I think they're going to do the latter.
Yeah, well, they might do that look back, Andrew, because they're not that far apart on the circuit. They're going through hairpin 2 now, and the leaders are just coming out of hairpin 1 in the time that I've taken to say that. So they aren't too far apart on track.
Trouble for the JS Racing entry, the 111. What is up with them? Are they out? Well, I don't think they're out of fuel. Are they down an engine? They're very slow as they come round South Bank Bend.
Potentially the final stops for some people towards the sharp end of hire carts as well, mate. Eco Racing are in the 987, as is the 66 of A66. Both in for what we would hope, if all pans out successfully in terms of stint length, their final stop of the race.
Keep your tweets coming in at @MM. We're keeping an eye on them. Oh, this is tense. This really is tense. The gap for the leaders is just under 19 seconds. And just looking out for where our leaders are. Modernised Racing come over. It's a familiar helmet and suit combo of Brad Butcher in for them at the moment. They're on for a good result. But they're in a really tricky position because they're 2 laps behind 303 Racing. On sheer pace alone, they're not going to catch them. But do they push? Do they try and push 303 Racing into an error, into a mechanical problem? But at the same time, you know, MS.BE, who have shrewdly moved their way up this order, not that far behind themselves, another 2 laps back. In fact, just as this one goes into a bit of a calmer state, let's do a rundown, our penultimate rundown of the order at bottom of the hour. On screen, there is your leader, the 130 of Red Racing. Having completed 1,076 laps, their lead is 19.3 seconds. Number 43, MS Soco Select, are doing everything they can to try and chase them down. But since they separated the 2 MS carts, the pace has not been there for the number 43. In third place is that 111 MSJSR, still piloted by Connor Lucas. I think they're trying to reform the formation. They are 2 laps down, pretty comfortable in third because they are 3 laps clear. The number 42 MS Lucas carts, top 4 all in elite. 5th place overall, leading still in pro, but have had dramas in the last hour. It's the number 11 MS Karts entry. 2nd place at the moment, but owing as a pit stop at some point in the next hour and a half, is the number 115 of Team Keenan. They've had dramas at this stage of the race in years gone by. Can they hold on for at least a podium, possibly second? And as we say, if we're saying it for the offline motorsport team, we've got to say it for them as well. Potentially more, should something happen to the number 11. They're there in 6th. 7th place, the number 77 offline motorsport. The uber efficient number 77. Can they make this strategy work? They've done all of their pit stops. They've done all the strategy that they really can do. They've got 1 hour and 29 minutes, 34 seconds to find their way into 2nd place. PGS Racing are next, 8th place. They've still got reason to push on as well, should something happen to those ahead of them, because there's a podium in class for them potentially up for takings. 9th place, the 210 of Team Backmarker. They're just racing for overall position now. 10th place, first in Clubman, 303 Racing. The team named after 303 Squadron. The Polish drivers paying homage to the Polish pilots who fought in World War II. Could they take their first ever class victory at this event? As I say, it would be a very popular victory. 11th place, second in class in Clubman, is the 006 modernised team. Surely one of the most improved teams here this year. They've been very impressive. Brad Butcher trying to bring that kart home for them. 3rd place in Clubman. In 12th overall, the 443 MS.BE team. 2 laps ahead now of last year's class winners in 13th overall, 4th in the class for 2020 so far, the 595 of SMJC 595. 14th overall, 5th in Clubman, the number 24 of modernised karting. 15th overall, 6th in class, the 198 of DW Racing, ahead of in 16th place the 019 of the Frosterley Inn. 17th, this is really the big... Don't really want to use the word tragic. You know, there's more tragic things going on at the moment, but my heart really does go out to the Rye House Bandits, because they were in that fight for the lead in Clubman, but it's all gone wrong for them in the last 2 hours. They find themselves now just trying to get the cart home in 17th place in the 036. 18th place, the 780 of Tockwith Motorsport, Trico. They're just trying to bring things to a close now, ahead of, in 19th place, the 340 of TT Sport. Those are all the carts in Clubman that are still fighting for positions at the sharp end of that class. Let's move into the highest. 20th place, the two-man effort of the 06 Kart Events Belgium team. They have a 9-lap lead now for the class, ahead of Team ETL. 22nd overall is the second two-man effort from Kart Events Belgium. Kart Events Belgium 2. Could it be a double podium for the quarantine restriction-struck squads? 23rd place, the 987 of Eco Racing. Still doing that 987 number that's been loaned to them by Team Bonato, who had to sadly withdraw from this race due to funding issues. They're still there in 4th place. They've got Team Bonato team members in that kart as well. 5th place, the number 66 of A66. They've had a fantastic weekend so far and are a mere 90 minutes or so away from a really good result. 25th, the number 84 of Lockwell Hill Karting. 26th, Bradley Shepherd Racing. 27th, Team Tate. 28th, NRG Global Power, who in the second half of this race have been really strong. 29th, BTM Racing UK. 30th, the Euro Bandits. 31st, Century Sim Racing in the 59. 32nd, G3 Pro. 33rd, SRW Racing. In fact, that's just been changed because Blue Dog have just overtaken them. The 888 Clubman car that is now recovering. So 34th now for the 38 of SRW. 35th, they've just taken this position. It's Core Blimey Racing. They've taken it because of the problems for JS Racing, the 111. 37th, the number 67 of Swindon Karting Arena. 38th, the number 85 of the English Deaf Karting Team 24-hour team. 39th, the 555 of the renowned Vankels. 40th, the 187 of Jibtech. 41st, the 466, the second team from A66. 42nd, another second team, the 34 from BTM UK 2. 43rd, the 095 charity effort, Race for Reuben, just ahead of 44th. They've gained another position. Tom Butterworth, our co-commentator, and the team there with 227 Piston Broke Racing. 45th, the number 52 of Zap. 46th, the 040 of CMC Racing, another club and entry that's crawling its way back up the field, just trying to get any position they can. 47th, 270 of DEER. 48th, 200 of Boneheads. 49th, the 81 of Hopeless Disaster. 50th, the number 99 of Porsche Sport. 51st, they've just got this position. It's the number 10 of Three Blind Mice. 52nd now, the 71 of Grabex Racing. 53rd, the 42 of BUKC Rejects. 54th, the 36 of Adrenico Racing. 55th, the 45 of BH Designs Racing. 56th, rather, the number 1 of Teesside Tigers. 57th, the number 9 of the Newmarket Hornets. 58th, the number 14 of the Algorithmic Ascendancy. 59th, the number 40 of Pace Limited. 60th, the number 70 of LMS. 61st, the 141 of RTD Racing. 62nd, the 17 of Straight Through Crew. 63rd, and currently in the pits, the 37 of Two Stroke. 64th, the number 7 of Team Carter. 65th, the number 20 of Ryan Racing. And 66th, the number 30 of Curiosity Killed the Cart. 67th is the Zolt Bay Racing Team, the 82. 68th, the number 48 of Century Simpletons. The second kart from Century Sim Racing there. 69th, the number 58 of Kart Force. 70th, the 47 of Team Solan. 71st, still running, one of my teams of the day. Such really bad damage to the back of that 61, but it's still running out there, the Alessia Club and Kart. 72nd, the 24 of ain't gonna win. 73rd and last of the currently running karts is the number 24 of Ain't Gonna Win. Sorry, why so serious? And then there's 4 karts not running out there. Hope we see them in the next hour and 23 minutes. AMF the number 29, CTR the number 22, Anyone Racing the number 18, and Shirley Bassey the number 32. That is your rundown. The gap at the front of the field is 19.852 seconds. Howard.
Tracking an issue for our kings and queens of frugal fuel usage at Offline Motorsport, mate. They did very, very briefly go down into the garage at their final stop with an issue with the seat that's slightly broken. They had a quick look at it apparently, and Tom Butterworth reports they sent it immediately back out. So they clearly think it's okay.
Yeah.
But the concern being that it was close to where one of the stays that hold it into place.
Sorry, I've just noticed during the rundown, PGS Racing are in trouble. They've been in the pits for a while.
Yep.
Team Backmarker, after what seems like forever, have gained a position overall. They're up into 8th place.
Well, there you go.
I'm so relieved from every single time I've come in this box since 6 p.m. last night. I've seen 9th,
yes.
210, Team Backmarker.
Yes. Not the obviously not good news for PGS, but yes. Gosh, as I say, yeah, it's been 14 hours, 15 hours they've been working towards that position game, because they worked their way up. They worked their way up through the Clublands.
Yeah.
And yeah, that position, they had engine problems early on, that team, and yeah, it's been a real recovery drive from them. I know there'll be some frustration that they're not up there amongst the top runners.
Race for Ruben just came out the pit lane. They're going to run now to the end of the race. Another great effort from the Race for Ruben team.
Absolutely, yeah. They've been in some really good battles out there, and as we've got some pitters from our Clubman class, including the leader is in.
Yeah.
So 303 Racing in for what we would presume to be their final stop, Andrew. 1 hour 20 minutes to go, and 303 crew making their very last stop. We'll just keep an eye on it via the CCTV feed we've got from the pit lane to check how clean it is for them.
Just going to try and work out who's going to be taking the 303 to the end.
We should say as well that Modernised Racing have just made a pit as well, so second place in class have just made their final pit stop. So 303 Racing with the 3 laps in hand over Modernised should, all things being equal, retain the lead, but this is pit stops in endurance karting. Not all things always are remaining equal, so we will just double check the situation with that.
I think it might be Marcel Filipiak taking the 303, hopefully. We really, really do hope, because I'd love to see those guys get a victory to the end. Races in the Rye House Pro Karting Championship, where the Polish Lambo team, and it's current lap record holder, and this is his debut at the British 24 Hour. What a way that would be to finish your debut if you can get this home with 1 hour and 20 on the clock.
I just spotted the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, I've been ignoring that.
Is that genuine?
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
I mean, Team Backmarker are some fast drivers, but that is suspiciously fast. Wow. Okay.
PGS Racing, unfortunately, still in the pit lane, as are DW Racing. And the Frostily in as well. Oh dear, I think we've got some karts that are straining to get to the end.
Yeah, they are quite second-hand by this point.
Oh, now, interesting here, Howard.
Mm-hmm.
On the drone cam, you might just be able to pick this out, but just standing right in the middle of driver entries, just moved away to your left on the driver change area.
Yep.
There's a certain helmet that we've seen emerge at this stage of the race before. Dave Robinson looks to be getting into the MS Soko Select Kart for the last stint. They are in the pits now.
And the significance of this will not be lost on anyone who saw last year's event. Dave Robinson it was, who was a crucial element in the closing stages of last year's race that saw the win go the way of the MS Soko Select Kart.
Got to give it big time to Paul Wilkins. That was an epic stint. He's kept them in this. 20 seconds. You never know. This is going to go to the wire, Howard. I can just feel it.
Yeah, it's going to be crucial to see how these last few pit stops go. Team Backmarker, by the way, are in the pits for what would presumably be their last planned stop as well. What's the sector time as they come through MS Soko Select? They'll go over the crest of the hill and then they should break the Sector 1 timing beacon at some point on this stretch of road. It's 1 minute 17 the time. That's a decent stop, mate. That is a decent stop for my money.
Damage to the Century Sim Racing. It's a bit of the bodywork on the right-hand side, on the rear. Sorry, on the left-hand side. On the rear left, I think it'll be okay. It's not coming loose at all. It's just having a bit of flappage. Flappage in the wind.
That is a technical diagnosis right there.
We could make it more fancy and call it flappagerie.
Yeah,
we'll hold fire.
I think that's how if you get meatball flag, that should be the official excessive flappage.
Excessive flappage.
There's
several drivers who put their arms in the air sometimes. It could get called for excessive flappage.
How do you distinguish which element of the effort is actually flapping? Anyway.
2:10 in for its final pit stop, sorry mate.
Indeed, and 42 of MS Lucas as well in for their last stop as well. So they're in from 4th place, still PGS Racing in the pit lane, but DW Racing have got back out onto circuit.
Now this is really intriguing now. What do you do if you're Red Racing? Because you could stop now. You don't need to stop.
No.
You actually have the sight of your rivals just up the road on certain pieces of this circuit.
Yeah.
You know, do you take the stop now, take it under green, and know that you're going to have to defend about 20 odd seconds ahead of the number 43's arguably fastest driver in race conditions? Or do you almost think, because I'm really, really conscious of what happens if a full course yellow comes out now.
Yeah.
Or at any point in the next 20 minutes for Red Racing, where they could have this one signed, sealed and delivered if they get it spot on with a full course yellow. And the more I'm thinking about it, the more I think you stay out.
I don't know.
You don't need to pit right now.
I take the point. I'd almost be paranoid of how many people might jump on the FCY if it were to happen.
But that is the other aspect of it. Yeah, that is the other aspect. If you end up queuing and losing 10, 15 seconds in that scenario, you know, it could all go wrong.
Absolutely. So, I don't know. It's a tough call, mate. They're a team who are used to being in this kind of position and making these calls, of course, but yeah, you just stick to what you know, get a good, clean, green flag pit stop in, or do you indeed? Do you hold out for something? I mean, they're stationed, incidentally, where they're sort of working a lot of the strategy trackside. They're stationed right next to pit entry. Yeah. In fact, I wonder if they've actually got a clean line of sight to the fuel bowsers. I don't think they quite do, but you know, if an FCY happened, they would totally be eyes on that. To pounce on that, definitely, but they would have to do it with caution.
Fidel 10 says this lap count is insane, by the way. It has been something where the lap times have been consistent. There's not been too much full course yellow running, at least, and we've touched wood. You might be right here, mate. We might get through a 24-hour here at Teesside with no rain.
That probably means it's going to absolutely chuck it down on our drive home.
Yes. Oh, it most definitely will. 1,143 laps was last year's tally, and I think we're due to beat that. Now, the one thing as well is we've been talking about the fuel, obviously a lot, during this race, and the owner kart teams not being able to get the mileage, so they probably have stopped more times than in previous years.
Yeah,
which will have tipped it back in unless the 141 Gives it a little shake of the wrist there down the back straight.
Unless you're offline motorsport, of course. They seem to have...
Yes, wizardry. Compared to everybody else, I don't... Well, we do know how they've been doing it, because they've been doing this very deliberate lifting and coasting when possible to get the mileage out of them. Just to check, what is the gap at the moment between Team Keen and offline motorsport? Because we know Team Keen need to make another stop.
It's super tight, mate. It's 17 seconds across the line when they last passed it.
So that's still advantage offline motorsport if you think that Team Keen are going to come in and spend maybe not the full minute in the box, but they're going to spend a lot more than 17 seconds.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
There's your leader, Adam Nichols, number 13. Red Racing. 66 seconds is their lead, but they owe us a pit stop sometime in the next 20 minutes.
Just seen Team Tate have done their last stop of the race, all things being equal. A slight case of what might have been, or have I just observed it wrong? They were at the sharp end of that higher kart class in some of the earlier phases of the race. I'm not quite sure what befell that effort.
It kind of went all, I think it went all a bit awry just as you left at about 8 o'clock. I seem to remember it was in the run up to 10 o'clock that it all went a bit pear-shaped for them. But yeah, that's one of those frustrating 24-hour results in a way, because I think the pace was in that kart to, as you say, be right up at the front in the latter stages, especially going into that end of the first third of the race. They were pretty much the only ones challenging Kart Events Belgium on pace.
Yeah.
So in some ways, yes, you're happy that you've had that good pace, that you've been able to show what you can do, but at the same time, you've not got the result that you perhaps would have wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think I've not seen too many dramas in terms of, I've not seen penalties or anything. They've had a decent run. They're currently, so they've re-emerged from the pit lane. They are 5.6 seconds down the road from BTM Racing UK. But how long have we got left? 1 hour 10. That's going to be tight for BTM Racing UK, whether they need to stop again. They've been out on track for 42 minutes. That's going to be a lengthy stop for a higher kart. That's one of the closer ones I can see out there. Who else is in that situation?
You know it's getting tough out there when even Adam Nichols gives it a neck roll. He is digging. He's digging to the centre of the earth in terms of where he's finding this pace from. He's gone through his pockets. He's gone through the suit, through the kart chassis. I don't know where he's finding this pace from, but it is just remarkable. I mean, he's being helped at the moment, obviously, by being a little bit low on fuel, and I think they are just going to run this tank as far as they possibly can. They are hoping, and this is the weird thing with endurance racing, how it can change back and forth.
Yeah.
30 minutes ago, I was saying how Adam Nichols was like, no full course yellow, don't give me a full course yellow, don't bunch up this field, please, don't give me a full course yellow. Whereas now he's probably like, yes, give me one now, to get this fuel stop in and gain a bit of time through that regard, with the on-track runners going a bit slower if that were to occur. He's just keeping his head forward throughout this stint.
I want to just stress that whilst the gap at the front is really tantalising, and we've got some pretty close gaps amongst our owner field, there are teams within high karts who are locked into some fascinating battles as we come towards the end. The gap between Eco Racing and A66, we mentioned their final stops some 20 minutes ago. They're 5 seconds apart, mate. They're equal on stops. They're all done. Thanks very much. It's an out-and-out run to the line for those two. I know you mentioned some of these in the hourly update. BTM Racing UK, do they have to stop again? I think they have to. But they're in a battle with Team Tate and NRG Global Power. There's just so many as I go down the order. Some of these groups, mate, that they were battling when I was talking at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And they're still within 30 seconds of each other either way, and that can easily be lost or gained in a pit stop. If you're maybe tuning in with us towards the end of this one, live.alphatiming.co.uk, click on 24-hour karting and you can follow all of the timings there. Don't forget that if you're here to support a particular competitor, you can highlight them on the driver tracker. Click their kart number and it'll highlight their kart in a little dot, click it a blue dot, that will be. Click it again, you get a red dot. Click it again, the dot turns off. So if you want to highlight your favourite team in blue, and then maybe their immediate rivals around in red, and keep track of it that way, you can absolutely do that. You want to keep track of the leader in a particular class, go for it. It's all there for you. You want to see the team's individual lap times. Maybe you missed a pit stop time and they pitted a couple of laps ago. Click on the team's name, it'll give you a full run through of all the times there. Any penalties and announcements about the race globally will appear on the right hand side of the screen. All there for you at live.alphatime.co.uk.
That was a gesture to say I'm ready to come in the pits, I think. I mean, the pace is still... Adam Nichols, I literally tip my hat to you, and my hat now won't go back on my head. That's staying
That's
on
the problem
for
when you're wearing a headset.
1 hour 7 to go. This last stint has been a 1 hour 7 as well. It's been the second half of a double for Adam Nichols, where David was saying he was probably getting the lap times of MS Soco Select every single lap. By the way, MS Soco Select's decision to put Dave Robinson in for this final stint is looking like it's justified, because he's already in the 1 minute 12s, and I don't think he's actually had the rear gunner help from MSJSR, so that is purely his pace at the moment. Red Racing, though, I reckon are going to be pitting this lap. It feels like a good time to do it. The question is, how big a gap are they going to have when they re-emerge from pit lane? Now, we say about 60 seconds is normally lost when you go in for a pit stop. However, this is not going to be a normal stop. This is going to be short fuel.
They're staying out for another one, mate.
Okay.
Just gone by our comms position here. In fact, you should see them on the shot. There is Adam Nichols there. Just went through the apex of the shot there in the number 13, picking off some of the higher car class traffic.
There's Toby Gould in the number 14 Algorithmic Ascendancy. I am liking the hat on that shot.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, have I mentioned someone I saw in a sort of early noughties Jordan full-on suit in the pit lane as well. I saw that and thought that you would... I was appreciating that a lot.
1 hour 5 and 50 seconds to go. I'm just keeping an eye on the leader. Crucial stop coming up. Unfortunately, PGS Racing, I think they are circulating again, but they've lost a number of laps now. They'll be a bit gutted, I think, to not finish on the podium in this race in the class. They were right up there with MS Karts in the middle of the night, in the wee hours, but it's all gone wrong for them in this one. Let's have a look. Do Red Racing pit, or do they go on? I think they're going on. A little bit longer. Keep your tweets coming in. Give us a follow at @MM if you've enjoyed the commentary. We've enjoyed giving the commentary to you. And if you're on Facebook as well, at @MM, do give the page a like. It really does help us out. We're on YouTube as well. Fledgling channel. Hello, Cats. I've not actually seen Kat for this whole race because I got here so mega late.
Yeah, I saw her only very briefly as well. It's because of where we're in the comms position. We're slightly separated from our typical sort of closer interaction with the organisers.
There we just saw the Christian Werner, the Zap driver, team from Germany. I'd like this from Rashid. I smashed the like button, now I need a new mouse. Hit the like, boys! Thank you very much.
Sorry for your former mouse.
Murray Adams looks like he's taking the number 21 team backmarker kart to the end of the race then. One of the regulars in this kart in the BPEX series alongside Jessica Alexander. Have put so much hard work into this kart, and I think they'll be back. I think that's a kart to look out for in future years. Privateer team have run themselves very, very well. They will have learnt a lot preparing for this race for over 12 months with that entry, and yeah, they've been going up against, to say, some teams that we've been watching for a good few years here at Teesside, the likes of Offline and Team Keen and the plethora of MS entries and the leaders Red Racing. And some of those in Clubman as well we've seen for previous years as well, and they've currently got themselves ahead of all of those Clubman entries. Hello to the cluttered desk. How are the lads from TT Sports? They were in 19th, just trying to hold themselves ahead of the hire carts. They've had a couple of tricky moments. They've had some time in the paddock repairing damage to the kart as well. But there's other Clubman teams out there who've had far worse races. So I think they'll be pretty pleased to bring this one home and be up there in the top 20. There's the leader, still out there and actually pulling away at the moment from MS Soco Select. The gap is up to 65 seconds again. So at the moment, they are still just happy to keep circulating. The pace is still good. They don't need to pit. Century Sim Racing there, number 59, Stuart Noonan driving for them at the moment. So don't worry too much about the plastic cowl. That'll have just lost a fixing. It's still got a good few others. It's not coming any further loose. Might be producing a little bit of drag, but nothing more than that.
Afraid I've got to announce a sort of on side note retirement from the race. The comms box laptop made it almost through 23 hours before I've had to do an emergency reboot on the thing.
She did so well.
It did so well. I was so proud of it.
Leader's in. Leader is in then for the final pit stop. And we're going to know in about a minute's time what we're dealing with in terms of a lead for Red Racing. I'm pretty sure they are going to still be in the lead of this race. As we say, this is not going to be a full pit stop for fuel, not up to the brim, because they've only got an hour to go as we have a look at the number 47, Kyle Burns driving for Team Salan. They've hopefully enjoyed themselves in this race, still circulating, and for a team, any team really, just getting to the checkered flag is an achievement in itself. Doesn't matter about the result. It's not what this race is about for the vast majority of teams. Team Keener in as well. This is crucial. This is a crucial stop for the 115. Where do they come out in relation to Offline Motorsport? Probably behind, but how much by? And will they be able to put the number 77 under pressure? Just waiting to see where Red Racing are. I've not seen them back out with my own eyes. There's the 21 of Team Backmarker. 1 hour to go then, 60 minutes to decide who's going to win the 2020 British 24-hour kart race. Lots of activity in the pit lane. Ooh, so Red Racing called that right, pitting on that lap. And one of them is the number 11 MS karts. They do have a good lead in Pro, but they're going to lose a bit of time in the pit lane while stuck behind some of the other karts. Only 2 fuel stations available at any one time in this race. And that's not a COVID-19 thing. That happens every year. There goes Dave Robinson over the line. 18.3 seconds is the gap then. Right, race is on now. This is no longer a 24-hour race. This is a 59-minute and 10-second sprint to the flag. Can Dave Robinson pull in 19 seconds on the 130 of Red Racing? I've not had visuals on Red Racing and which driver they've got in there. We'll try and get that in a moment. They're on the far side of the circuit to us in the commentary box at the moment. There goes the 21 again, so we're looking a little bit further up the road from Robinson, who's got his rear gunner again. The 111 is there. The 111 is there. Oh boy, this could get very exciting, ladies and gentlemen. If it wasn't exciting enough for you already. And they have made the change. I think that is Charlie Bingham in the kart, in the number 13, the Red Racing machine. So he's been entrusted with bringing home a victory that Red Racing have so strived for over the last few years. So many times they've been where MS SoCo Select are now. 15 seconds, 20 seconds, a lap, whatever it may be, just within close range. Yep, it is Charlie Bingham. You see the checkered flag on the top of his helmet. Can they do this? Can they take a victory for a Haas chassied kart as well, after this event has been dominated by the MS chassis over the past few years? There's the race for Ruben, number 95, just ahead of them.
Turn of the hour has seen a few of our higher karts, Andrew, make what we presume will be their last stop of the race. Hopeless Disaster in for their last stop in the 81. Three Blind Mice in for what I presume will be their last stop in the number 10. Of course, there are some efforts that at this point might have gone down to, I've known teams go down at this stage in the race to as short as 30-minute stints, mate. Just, you know, if they're one of the teams who are here perhaps for the first time, or just to get the experience, because it's something that they do as a group of friends, something that we've been singing the praises of throughout the race, that there are people here for such different reasons, a whole range of things, not all necessarily here to win it, but just for the experience. Some of those may be making some late pit stops, so don't be surprised if we do see some late visitors from the higher kart class within the last half hour.
Bingham pushing hard. He's got traffic to deal with at the moment. There's the number 24 of modernised karting, 14th overall. Bingham will use a bit of a slipstream there and get through before they go into the S's. Robinson continuing to pull that gap down. It's 17.8 seconds at the last check. You're watching live coverage of the last hour of the 2020 British 24-hour kart race. There is your leader, Red Racing. And just to tell you, Dave Robinson and the two MS karts are going round hairpin 2 now.
And they're bringing down the gap, Andrew. 17.8 seconds, 0.4 of a second taken out of our race leader on the last lap. Dave Robinson is getting the hammer down here. It's time to push. Here they are, working together now through the traffic. MS JSR in the wheel tracks to help as the rear gunner. And just to put a lap there on the Team Backmarker kart as they work their way through the order. But yeah, Dave Robinson with the orange and blue helmet, working his way through, man on a mission, trying to get onto terms with Red Racing.
So if you're just joining us, we saw this same strap from the two MS karts about an hour ago, when at the time it was Connor Lucas driving the 111. And you had Paul Wilkins in the 43, and they did manage to pull in about 10 seconds on Red Racing. That was over probably about a 30-minute period. So they have potentially got the time to do this. This could go down to the last 5 minutes, you know. 55 minutes to go. 16.778 is the gap at the last count. MS Karts, meanwhile, we talked about their final pit stop. They have re-emerged. They are still in the lead of Pro by 4 laps. Offline Motorsport are just trying to hold on now. Remember, they're running the long strategy. They pitted with 1 hour and 37 minutes to go. They may be on fumes by the end of this.
Can I just note what's just gone past our comms window?
A checkered flag.
Checkered flag being carried to the start-finish gantry, ready for the end of this race in some 54 minutes time.
Another 3/10 gone out of the lead for Red Racing last time around. We've got the number 34 kart in higher just ahead of them. It's BTM UK2. BTM teams have had a really good run in this edition of the 24-hour. The number 1 kart, BTM Racing UK, in 27th at the moment. 2 kart in 41st. Keep your comments coming in. Hello to Francois Van Look. May the best win with respect to all teams. Absolutely, Francois.
Yeah, it's a critical part of there's going to be, you know, some high emotions over the course of the next hour, mate, because to finish this kind of event is an achievement in of itself. So, yeah, absolutely fair play to all the teams out there.
The gap for Kart Events Belgium in higher, by the way, you just see them at the bottom of the timing tower in the top 20, 10 laps. I mean, just before we get into the last, you know, it won't be that long before we do the last rundown. Howard, who have you got for team of the race?
Oh goodness! Can I have a think about that for a bit?
In fact, you can have a think about it.
That's going to take me a while.
If you're on Twitter, tweet us at @MM.
Yeah.
Who is your team of the race? Can be for any reason. Can be for a fantastic performance. Can be for a grit and determination story. Can be for a massive improvement. Whatever it may be, let us know at @MM who is your team of the race. I've got a few that are at least nominees, as Into the Pits come Rye House Bandits for the last time. That should be for fuel, 1 hour 27 since they last pitted, so that's an elongated splash and dash in a way. And they're still there in the top 15. Hello to John Witham, who's immediately got in contact with us on the Facebook page. 303 Racing for him. John Witham from Blue Speed Racing, who we hope to see back here in 2021. Gap is down to 15.7, another 2/10 gone. And they just keep chipping away at that lead there for Red Racing's Charlie Bingham. But, you know, this four-man lineup from Red Racing, you know, leading into this, Adam Willis in the early bits of this morning, pounding in those lap times, handed over to Adam Nichols, who had to really dig deep to put Charlie Bingham in this position, and Martin Black, of course, as well. This would be a really deserved victory for whoever takes it, but particularly for Red Racing. They've played the strategy fantastically. That's 4th place. That's MS Lucas, the number 42, 4th place Kart, and what's that? He's got a puncture, rear left puncture. I think, is that at the bottom of the hill? Is that at
yeah,
Rib
I think
Bend?
that's out of Rib Bend, surely.
Oh, that's a scary place to go off.
And it's going to crab a bit with that flat as well.
They should have enough time to get back and hold on to 4th overall, ahead of their stablemates, the number 11. Oh, that's going to feel horrible.
We saw from MSJSR yesterday evening just how quickly they can do. Actually, I saw it live in front of me, a change of the rear left.
Yeah.
They can do that really quickly, so long as you can pilot that back to the pits.
Modernised karting, the number 24 there in for their final stop. What an effort it's been from those guys.
Yeah. They are one of the teams I'm thinking about. Can I give a really obscure one for team of the race?
Go on.
Or I think it's obscure. Maybe more people out there agree with me than I think. You know me, mate. I'm a bit strange. I grew up a petrol head, but I'm more a sort of efficiency volt head stuff.
Sorry, big lap just went in terms of time. Gap's down to 13.258 seconds.
I'll do this quick. I think I'm going to give it to Offline Motorsport just because of the approach that they've taken. How much discipline it takes to, we're going to do this strategy, we're going to stick to this strategy, do not belt it around this lap, and take care of the car. For doing something different, no matter how it pays off. I could give this to, you know, obviously our leaders and a lot of second places, but these guys have really impressed me with their approach to this race, and I think that's to be commended. So they're one of my teams of the race. Josh Fry bringing the number 42 in. He'll probably stay in the kart. We'll get it repaired. We'll send him back out. You're not the first. David Whitehouse has got in contact with us on Twitter at @MM. Offline for their strategy, 303 for the story, and Kart Events Belgium for... They've not won yet, David. They've not won yet. But the story of Kart Events Belgium for both karts. Yeah.
2 drivers each. And let's have a look at what the gap is. They've already taken 4/10 out in the first sector. Oh, it's down to 12.2. Red Racing, what must be going through their minds now? There probably won't be much going through Charlie Bingham's mind apart from just drive, eyes forward as quickly as possible. But the team, well, they're going to have no fingernails left, I can guarantee you that. Because Dave Robinson is charging at them again. How many times have we now seen the blue and orange helmet of Robinson in the last hour of one of these 24-hour races here at Teesside, sliding the cart into hairpin one there. And the 111, I think it is still Connor Lucas driving for them, is absolutely flying. Up the inside of a few of the high carts, just call the sights of one of the Kart Event Belgium carts there. I think I can tell whether it was the 6 or the 66.
Looking a little further down the order, the pits at the moment, relatively quiet. Curiosity killed the cart in for what I would presume is their last stop, with just 46 minutes left on the clock. We're at 1-1-1-1 laps at this point, and the dry conditions, we've had some FCYs, mate, but the dry conditions might mean that we see last year's distance bested. That would be 11:43 is the critical number for that. But that's one to bear in mind.
Little bit of time lost that last lap for Robinson.
Absolutely.
Situation still across the classes as were. MS Karts have got this 5-lap gap over Offline. 33 seconds is the gap between Offline and Team Keen. 303 Racing 3 laps clear now of Modernised Racing, who are 2 laps clear of MS.BE. SMJC 595, a valiant defence of their clubman title. Oh, as Connor Lucas goes across the D chicane there, and there's a yellow flag out for one of the higher carts, which has had a spin in hairpin number 1. He's got it going again now. It's one with a blue and orange, almost Gulf-like Nassau panel there. Gap is now below 12 seconds, 11.9 for Dave Robinson behind Charlie Bingham. And Connor Lucas doing everything that he can. Look at him straining. 2 engines better than 1 as they go into hairpin number 1, and another push and another push. He's just going to sit there. He is just going to sit there for the next 45 minutes and help his teammate as much as possible.
Did we cover how much time was actually lost by MS Lucas in all of that? I reckon it's actually very little. It's surprisingly little. It's like 2 minutes.
I like this from Rachel Brown. What would Red Racing be thinking if only we had a teammate up our posterior too? Yes, indeed.
Yep, but Red Racing crew out there on their own against...
Baby Oil Rallying actually makes a very good point. 4 engines better than 2. Yes, of course. Very good. Very, very good. The gap is now, it's a second a lap. It's a second a lap they're pulling in pretty much.
Yep.
So by that, you know, 11 laps time, we could be seeing this. Now, this is crucial. Look at all this traffic now. It's the number 19 of the Frosterly Inn just pulling to one side and letting the MS Karts through.
And they've been able to encounter, well, I was about to say they were able to encounter a nice body of that traffic on the straights, and they'll get past the next lot, hopefully ahead of South Bank, but it's important to pick these off as cleanly and as quickly as possible.
The intriguing bit here, I've just checked the timings. 52 minutes is the amount of time since Connor Lucas pitted.
Yeah.
He cannot get to the end.
No.
He cannot get to the end. If Red Racing can hold this lead until Connor Lucas pits for his final pit stop for that 111, I think they have a chance.
Yep. The gap now down to 10.7 seconds between the leaders of this race. Red Racing, who have been in the lead now for I'm trying to think when the lead last significantly changed, but it was a number of hours ago now. And these two teams, who between them have had the lion's share of the lead of this race, are closing as we are entering the final 43 minutes here. Here is Charlie Bingham at the wheel of that Red Racing effort. Sterling effort from that team to be in the position that they're in.
And he's clear now.
But we're going to pan back here, and there it is. There is the gap. We visually saw it there on your shot on the live stream. That is the gap that Dave Robinson, with help from Conor Lucas behind, is trying to close down. As they go through, that's the CMC cart that they're passing there. One of our clubmen who's been on a bit of a recovery drive through this one. Be an achievement for them to get to the end of this one.
With mechanical flag out for the number 95.
And that's going to affect them.
Ruben.
That's going to affect them in their some of the battles that they're having. They are just 47 seconds up the road from Boneheads. They're only 15 seconds behind DEER team, so that's unfortunate for them. I'm wondering if
let's try and catch a sight of what the cause
the
is.
Might be. It's the 95 we're looking out for. So
MS carts have been slowed slightly by the traffic, so the rate at which they're pulling Red Racing in has been reduced. It's always a big factor around here at Teesside, getting through the traffic cleanly and efficiently. Still looking out for where the 95 is, with its big red Bigfoot. Keep your comments coming in. Remember, tweet us at @MM. Let us know who your teams of the race are. Got nominations for 303. Offline Motorsports, Kart Events Belgium. Already 41 minutes to go. There is the leader. What is the gap like this time around?
There's nothing obvious, not from at least the left-hand side of the cart on that race for Ruben cart, mate, as it's just come past our comms box and straight down pit entry. As Red Racing shoots for the gap at the bottom of the hill, trying to carry as much momentum as possible onto this back straight. A little bit of clean air ahead of some of that traffic, although he will catch some of that probably in the slaloms with Charlie Bingham. So he's going to have to be careful with that. And there is the traffic down the inside of hairpin 1. He'll have pulled that move potentially hundreds of times by this point in the race.
You just got the shot there. For the first time, you just saw the three key carts at the front of the field all within one shot.
Yeah.
And how much of a driver will that be for Dave Robinson and Conor Lucas, that they can now visually see Charlie Bingham's 1-3 Red Racing machine.
Yeah, it's going to be a big driver psychologically at that point. The gap down to under 10 seconds as Bingham encounters traffic going into the D chicane. He's cleared it now. Flashes into shot here. This is... I mean, it just so happens that the closest gap amongst the owner teams is the one that's at the very front.
There's the number 36 Rye House Bandits cart. I still running out there.
I want to give a quick, sorry mate, I want to give a quick mention. BTM Racing UK are in a tight battle with NRG Global Power. That's over 8th in the higher kart class, and BTM Racing, mate, a team who've had a great recovery drive this time, but they're going to go right down to the wire with this battle that they're having at the moment.
I know there's a lot of chat in the comments at the moment about, is the only reason that Dave Robinson's closing in is because he's got Conor Lucas behind him. I have to politely disagree.
Yeah,
this is a driver who we've seen do this before without someone pushing him along behind. This is a driver who's won this race multiple times. We saw when he emerged from the pits that his pace was slightly quicker than what Red Racing are producing at the moment. Yes, of course, Conor Lucas being there is helping out, but I still think that this would be going down. You'd still be seeing that gap go down. Maybe not as much as we are seeing. The gap now 8.6 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, we're not actually seeing, you know, bump drafting that often.
No, it's only really down the back straight.
There's not that many places where it can really... I mean, they've just gone past our comms box here, and they weren't They weren't touching. They weren't.
No.
You know, it's not as big an effect as you might think. It's subtle. I mean, think of. I know it's a different discipline entirely, but think of Formula One when Ferrari send their 2 cars out astern in qualifying. It doesn't get them that much. You can't bump draft in F1.
And getting through the traffic as well. I mean,
if
Charlie Bingham's pace itself is very, very good. He's just done 1:13.1.
And there it is again. We saw the shot there again of them all in shot at once. But yeah, I mean, if anything, I'd almost argue it would be the case more if Conor Lucas was in front and sort of parting the traffic as a primer for him coming through. So I almost, I'm going to disagree. And I should say as well, even if that were the case, mate, this is endurance racing. All is fair in endurance racing and war.
Yeah.
To a certain, if you've got, the highest flight of motorsport, World Endurance Championship teams will work together in this way. If a particular team have their race hampered or are out of sync on pit strategy, they'll hold up the rivals to help out their teammates. So even if that were the case, I do think that's all perfectly fair and above board. It does underline, we've talked about how Red Racing have really taken the fight to these MS karts throughout the whole race.
Yeah.
In fact, possibly throughout the whole last few years. But no, this is to take nothing away from Dave Robinson. He is putting in a sterling effort, and we saw the pace even when the MS JSR kart was pitting.
Yeah.
We saw the effort from him. So I understand why people are asking it, but I still think this kind of situation would be coming to fruition, even if that MS JSR kart was not there with Dave out there.
Let's have a shot there of the Bradley Chequered Racing number 16. It looks like our good friend, the Greek god of speed, is going to be bringing that one to the checkered flag. Fingers crossed.
Well, I'm getting David Harvou, mate. I seem to recall this time in the race last year, I was looking at the clock going, we've got to do a bottom of the hour update soon, and we're going to have to do it so quickly.
Down the back straights.
Is that the 11?
No, it's not.
No, it's the 39.
39.
It's the PGS racing kart.
They have had no luck today. No luck at all.
It was, for me, the story of at least the first part of the night was PGS Racing keeping the MS kart's effort honest.
Yep.
But sadly, in the small hours...
This is their third problem of the race. They lost 9 laps earlier in the race, which really was a hammer blow to their efforts. They had another one about an hour ago, and then this one. Right, let's do bottom of the hour. Let's get it done.
Yep.
Red Racing lead, 1,120 laps on the board. 8.6 seconds is the gap to MS Soco Select in second. Third, MS JSR, 2 laps down, but being a brilliant rear gunner at the moment. Fourth, the 42 of MS Lucas, who are running again after their crash a few moments ago. First in Pro, 5th overall, the number 11 of MS Kart. 6th, the number 77 of Offline Motorsport. 2nd in Pro, 7th overall. 3rd in Pro, the 115 of Team Keen. The gap between 2nd and 3rd in that class is 29.9 seconds. 8th, the 210 of Team Backmarker. 9th in the pits again, the 390 of PGS Racing. 10th and 1st in Clubman is 303 Racing, 3 laps ahead of 11th place 006 Modernised Racing. 2nd in Clubman, 12th and 3rd in Clubman, the 443 of MS.BE. 13th, the 595 of JMC 595. 14th, the number 24 of Modernised Karting. 15th, the 036 of the Rye House Bandits. 16th, the 198 of DW Racing. 17th, the number 19 of the Frostily Inn. 18th, the 780 of TMS Trico. 19th, the 340 of TT Sport. Into the highest, leading in higher, the number 20 of 06 Kart Events Belgium. 21st, and in the pits for their final stop. Now that's not scheduled. I thought they were going to go to the end, but they are still in second. It's Team ETL, 22nd, number 66 of Kart Events Belgium 2, 23rd, 66 of A66, 24th, the 987 of Eco Racing, 25th, the 84 of Lockwell Hill Karting, 26th, the 015 of BSR, 27th, the 430 of NRG Global Power, 28th, the 91 of Team Tate, 29th, the 33 of BTM Racing UK, 30th, the 59 of Century Sim Racing, 31st, the Euro Bandits 169, 32nd, the 888 of Blue Dog in Clubman, 38th, the 111 of JS Racing, 34th, the 113 of Core Blimey Racing, 35th, the number 11 of G3 Pro, 36th, the 38 of SRW, 37th, the 067 of the Swindon Karting Arena Racing Team, 38th, is the EDKT24 number 85 kart. The 39th place, 555, renowned Vankels. 40th, the 187 of Jibtech. 41st, the 34 of BTM UK2. 42nd, the 466 of A662. 43rd, the 040 of CMC Racing, who've just come in the pits for their final stop in the Clubman kart. 44th, the 52 of Zap. 45th, the 227 of Piston Broke Racing. 46th, the 270 of DEER. 47th, the 200 of Boneheads. 48th, still in the top 50, is the 095 of Race for Rubin. 49th, the 81 of Hopeless Disaster. 50th, the 99 of Porsche Sports. 51st, of Grabex Racing, number 71. 52nd, that's a move in the last hour. The number 36 of Odranico Racing ahead now of the 53rd place 42 BUKC Rejects. 54th, the 45 of the BH Designs Racing. Take a breather. 55th, the number 9 of the Newmarket Hornets. 56th, they've just taken this spot, the number 1 of Teesside Tigers, relegating into 57th place the number 10 of the 3 Blind Mice. 58th, the number 70 of LMS. 59th, the number 14 of Algorithmic Ascendancy. 60th, the number 40 of Pace Limited. 61st, the 141 of RDT Racing. 62nd, the 37 of Two Stroke. 63rd, the 17 of Straight Through Crew. 64th, the number 7 of Team Carter. 65th, the number 20 of Ryan Racing. 66th, the 82 of ZBR, who just set their fastest first sector of the race. 67th, the number 30 of Curiosity Killed the Kart. 68th, the 48 of Century Simpletons. 69th, the 58 of Kart Force. 70th, the number 47 of Team Solan. 71st, the 61 of Alessio in Clubman. 72nd, the number 24 of Ain't Gonna Win. 73rd, the 037 of Weissel Series. Still 4 karts stationary in the pits. We hope to see them out running at some form of pace in the last half an hour. The number 29 of AMF, the number 22 of CTR, the number 18 of NE1 Racing, and the number 32 of Shirley Bassett. That is your last bottom of the hour rundown, provided to you by commentary providers for the 24-hour karting series, Double Dash Motorsport Media.
Thank you, Andrew. We did see some of the teamwork. I know we were talking about how we feel Dave Robinson will be reeling in this gap come what may. There was some fantastic bump drafting down the back straight on that last lap between Dave Robinson in the 43 and Connor Lucas in that 111 MSJSR kart. It is fantastic, and there you can see there Charlie Bingham there flashed out your shot, and then there are the chasing 2 karts. The gap down to 7.5 seconds now as they pick their way past the Alessia kart through the slaloms into hairpin 1. But I do just get the impression that, to me, mate, the 43 is the kart out of this and the 111 who has the most legs to it. He's actually pulled out quite a gap in this stint of the lap.
Couple more nominations for Team of the Race. Hello to Joseph Pickett on Twitter, who's tweeted at @MM. MS.BE, Team of the Race.
Yeah.
Pushing hard all the way through after a poor start. Absolutely.
Yeah, really good shout. Really good shout. Had a sort of period in the wilderness almost.
Yeah,
on the time screen
they crept up through the darkness almost.
Yeah.
And have kept pushing on. They fully deserved that 3rd place in Clubman. Very good nomination.
Another 1.1 seconds taken out of the lead, mate. Now down to 6.5 seconds. This is going to get to the point as behind them is that the one of the karts in higher class just had a heart and mouth moment going through the middle sector. Coming out of Rib Racing. What am I talking about? Yeah, this is closing down.
Hello to Chris Freeman on Twitter as well, at @MM. He's nominating the number 99, first timers Porsche Sports. Absolutely, love a nomination for a first timer. Yep. The Porsche Sport Freeman Hill Landscapes team doing fantastic in hire. Can they make 49th? I think they can definitely make the top 50 because they're right there at the moment. They're 1 minute and 6 seconds behind Hopeless Disaster in 49th. And that's a team that we've seen here before. That's an experienced team that they're fighting with in the last half an hour of this race. Yeah, cheers, Chris. Thanks for getting in contact with us. Great nomination. Yeah, absolutely. It's that frantic battle that's been going on in the sort of 40s to low 50s throughout, honestly, the whole race. The whole race. These teams I've been looking at, Race for Ruben, Hopeless Disaster, Porsche Sport, Grabex Racing, DER, Boneheads. They've all been in that region. Zap as well. Zap have actually got ahead of those teams and were battling them towards the back of that battle in the middle of the night. So it's been a really interesting race for those teams in the sort of 40s down through to the low 50 positions. I mean, I've got to say it. Look, he's Dave Robinson is pulling away from Connor Lucas.
He is, yeah, he is.
His management through the traffic, and this is something that I love to see from Dave Robinson. We've seen him do it before.
Yeah.
He has a knack of getting through this traffic so quickly, so cleanly, and this is why they're a previous champion. And at the moment, you'd be a brave man or woman to put money against them doing it again with 28 minutes to go. But this is endurance racing. Anything can happen. Look at the way he just pulled himself through those 3 hire carts. Just brilliant.
Just got to say as well, I'm just looking down the podium order in some of the other classes as it currently stands. Offline Motorsport, who've been doing that fuel-saving strategy throughout the whole race, just 27 seconds up the road from Team Keen. Crucially for me, mate, at the moment it looks to me like they are matching them for pace.
Yeah.
So when the time is coming, they're able to do a pretty decent pace. I mean, it's often a surprise how fast you can go doing a lift and coast strategy. You know, you sometimes hear drivers saying, I wonder why we don't do this all the time. This is so
especially
quick.
at this stage of the race when the tyres are just like,
yeah.
No, don't
Please
stop.
don't.
Please don't put fast laps in. I've done many hours. No more. So in a way, this is what's been impressive with the offline motorsport effort. They have properly nursed that kart through. They've seen teams around them have problems.
I have to say as well,
And they fully warrant that spot in 6th overall.
it is worth bearing in mind a case of what might have been slightly here. We don't know how it's going to pan out, but Team Keen got a black flag in the middle of the night for going too fast under a full course yellow.
Yeah, and that's another one, you know, picking up those kind of penalties. I love that for myself yesterday.
I wasn't going to mention that. Down the inside of some traffic goes Dave Robinson, and that works. That works out.
I think it's Stuart Letchford driving the G3 Pro effort at the moment. So cross start finish, the gap 5.8. So holding steady for that one. A smidge quicker for Robinson. There's the 303. You just caught a quick sight of them.
Yeah, important. Don't similar sort of mostly red livery on that kart. Don't mistake that for as Dave's going to need a bit of help down the straight on this occasion, isn't he? As they went by the Team ETL kart there.
Good
have we mentioned
Century Sim Racing, just letting them go?
Sorry, mate. Have we mentioned Team ETL? I think you said they didn't have a scheduled stop to your mind.
Yeah.
They've lost second place to Kart Events Belgium 2, and that has, at the moment at least for now, put Kart Events Belgium staggeringly in the position for a potential 1-2 in hire karts.
You keep your nominations coming in. My personal one is in this year of any, and the circumstances we've all been through, it's got to be Kart Events Belgium for me.
Yeah, that's a
They did not know if they were even going to be racing this week.
Yeah.
And I genuinely don't have words for how incredible this effort is. And as you say, they are now sitting 1-2 in the higher class.
How many drivers between the two karts do they have?
4.
It is 4 between the two karts. It is just incredible.
So they've been doing eat, sleep. Well, I doubt they've even had time for sleep. They'll have done a little bit of eating. And obviously a lot of racing and a lot of repeating.
I was going to say, I think they've just done repeat, haven't they? Just absolutely incredible stuff. No, it's a very, very worthy nomination, mate. Very, very worthy. As just having a look down. How far are Team ETL are 1 lap down from Kart Events Belgium 2 and 1 lap ahead of A66, and just such an impressive. You know, such impressive form from Kart Events Belgium. I'm just staggered by it.
Yeah.
And you know, having won Le Mans last year.
Yep.
You know, such an accomplished team, but as you say, with a reduced skeleton crew, still pulling off an outcome like this is highly, highly impressive.
Right, the gap. It's 3.8 seconds. Oh, that was a quick one. My goodness me. A 1:12.5 for both MS karts. And this is the thing now, because that second kart in the line, the MS JSR kart, has probably got, what, 10 more minutes?
Yeah.
They're going to have to stop. I mean, yes, they may have saved a little bit sitting in the slipstream of Dave Robinson for the last, what, 30 minutes or so, but even still.
There it is. Look how close it is now.
My goodness
this
me.
is Charlie Bingham. Checkered flag on his helmet. He would dearly love to see that flag the first out of anybody, but he is under so much pressure from the MS Soco Select team. Last year's winners. And I have to say, mate, there is a feeling of familiarity to how the end of this race is panning out. But Dave Robinson is closing this kart down. You're going to see them flash into shot. I think there's only one kart in between them on the road at the moment.
There's no karts on the
There's
road
no karts
between
now
them.
because they've just got by the... who have they just gone by? They've just gone by the
443.
MSBE.
MSBE.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
they won't have held them up. So, yeah, 3.4 seconds now, the gap. I don't know what's going through your mind if you're Charlie Bingham at the moment. He is such a proficient driver around here. Of course, he knows so well how to pilot a kart around here quickly. I'm just wondering, mate, if the kart has the pace in it at the moment.
You've just got to keep doing what he's been doing for the last since the last 35 minutes, keeping eyes forward, thinking about every single overtake.
Yep.
That's a nice one up the inside. This could be a crucial couple of laps. How quick can Dave Robinson and Connor Lucas get through this traffic? This could be crucial.
It's going to come
in the context of this race.
We've talked so much about endurance karting, mate. It really is. You mentioned how it's basically a long sprint. It's going to come down to like a 12-minute trophy final style race.
Yeah,
here. It really could do that. This is incredible, incredible stuff. Stay right here with us. Your Alpha Live coverage of the 2020 British 24 Hours from Teesside
There's a
Karting.
lot of traffic coming up for the leader.
There is.
This could make or break the race here for Red Racing. In the next 10-15 seconds up the road, there are a lot of hire carts to get through. This has got to be Charlie Bingham's chance. If he can get through this traffic quickly.
And there is, you could see the driver in the background allowing the MS carts through. He knows that the leaders are coming through. That's the other effect. Because
a little bit naughty.
Because they're so close, though, now you get the effect of Bingham starts parting the way for the leaders coming through if they're aware of it.
There they go past the Bradley Shepherd Racing number 15 with Costa Krietsis for them. Oh my goodness me.
It's closing up really seriously now. They could be right with them in about a lap's time at this rate of knots.
They've got to
Bingham's
get past.
going to get by cleanly here and going into South Bank.
That's Kart Events Belgium. Oh, now, crucial. Was that the signal from Connor Lucas to say, I'm out of fuel, boys?
I'm done.
They've done 1 hour 13, but it's been a very, very quick stint here at Teesside. They're just going up the inside of Kenneth Nassans in the Kart Events Belgium kart that's leading in higher. Does Connor Lucas pit? No, he goes round again. He goes round again.
But he saw his arm aloft
2
there.
laps. That was 2 laps.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, I still think, mate, with the amount of time on the clock, Dave would have closed this gap anyway.
I think it would have been close anyway.
He is about to lose his stage 1 boosters, isn't he? Yeah, and look at this gap.
That's a good reference. I like that. Down the back straight, and look at the traffic for Bingham. He's just got to send it now. He just has to go and send it. Look at him siding through. Robinson going this way, and that is almost a bit Spa 2000-like between Hakkinen and Schumacher. Oh, and Bingham's been held up by a back marker there. He's got to go inside, surely. They're side by side, the leader race. Oh, they've made contact. They've made contact there on hairpin 2. Connor Lucas has got through. He's now ahead of them on the road. He'll just carry on now with his race.
Does he, or does he try and slap back?
Well, yes.
To hold up Red Racing, Andrew. He could help out the other way round here. Will he respectfully get out of the way? No, he's not going to respectfully get out of the way.
There's teamwork definitely at play here, and Bingham's going to have to lock it down, surely. He's going to try and get round the outside of Connor Lucas. That's not a good spot to be, because surely Lucas is going to hold the inside there side by side as they go through the D chicane with 19 minutes of the 2020 British 24-hour kart race to go. This is unbelievable stuff here at Teesside Autodrome, and still Charlie Bingham leads. He's holding on, and Dave Robinson, it's like Nigel Mansell trying to get past Senna at Monaco 92. They're side by side as they come over the mountain to the inside. Bingham will have a good bit of drive, but Robinson may have better drive. They're side by side as they come into the S's. Who's going to lift? Oh, side by side round the back marker, and still Bingham's holding on. This is incredible racing here. It has turned into a sprint race, and Charlie Bingham doing the full Gandalf at the moment. He's still got it.
This is incredible. The Lockwell Hill karting effort was the one that they encountered on the hill. Must have wondered what was happening as they went this way and that. There was nowhere you really could go. You've kind of got to be on rails through that part of the lap. And yeah, this higher kart traffic, you know, there's only so much they can do to be compliant. It is the faster kart's job to find the way through. That is a critical thing to bear in mind here. Within reason. What a job from Bingham to hold off for that lap, but he's got to do it for 17 more minutes as Dave Robinson shoots the gap. That's going to have given Bingham a lifeline for a couple of corners because he's ahead of some traffic, which Robinson is not. As they head down to Rib Bend, the bumpy braking zone, you can feel where you need to apply the brakes basically through your posterior. Charlie Bingham doing a fantastic job as there's now no more karts between them once again.
MSJSR are in. They're in for their splash and dash. They are out of contention for this race. There's a yellow flag for the Why So Serious kart that spun and got going again through the D chicane.
They're going to encounter this, mate, coming out the slaloms and into the hairpins. The next bag of higher kart traffic. Here they are on the tail of the number 9. He's going to have to shoot down the inside of the hairpin, and then the 9 will resume the apex. Will that hold up Robinson? No, because he'll get the opportunity into hairpin 2. It's nip and tuck, ebb and flow through the traffic here at Teesside Autodrome with just over a quarter of an hour to go as there's a bulk
it's
there.
The Eco Racing 987.
Yep. And into hairpin 3 they go, and Bingham somehow so far has held off for another lap as they come out. This is absolutely fantastic stuff. Two of the greatest drivers within this race, I would argue, going side by side around the traffic into the D chicane onto a new lap. Now they've got to try and get their way past the 36 kart there as they head down towards Rib Bend. Does Robinson have an inside line? He does have an inside line, and he is through surely on Charlie Bingham, excuse me, and he's got the job done. Dave Robinson to the lead of this race, but Bingham is going to try everything he can to stay with this MS Soco Select kart. He'll have the draft down this straight, and there's no traffic either to prevent him from using that draft as much as he can. Will he have an opportunity into hairpin 1?
Now here's an interesting thought. If you're Charlie Bingham, do you just try and sit there, kind of eke out where Robinson is strong? Because you've not seen Robinson's pace for the last 30-40 minutes. You're probably not quite sure where he's strong and where he's potentially weak. I mean, it's Dave Robinson. He's a very, very good driver. But does Bingham just sit in the...
Contact! He's round and Bingham's through into the lead. Huge drama this. And now Dave Robinson has it all to do. I'm not sure which card it was with which he made the contact, mate. But massive, massive moment there. And he's dropped to behind the MSBE kart. So he has got some help immediately in that sense. One of the Clubman class karts.
It was the number 7. It was the number 7. It wasn't the number 7's fault.
No,
not at all.
It's Team Carter is that effort, and as you say, as I was saying just a lap before, mate, it's the faster kart's job to find the way past the traffic. It's not the higher kart's job. We don't have blue flags here. This is not the higher kart's job to get out of the way. And Charlie Bingham has been thrown a lifeline here because I really thought that was good. Look at the nose just bouncing around on the front of this kart. This red racing effort that's now got a lifeline thrown to them to hang on this Haas chassis kart in an event that's been dominated by MS machinery, MS chassis karts for a while now. They have a lifeline thrown to them, and it really is going to be a 12-minute trophy sprint final, mate. What is the gap as they come across the line this time? It was 4 seconds as they crossed the line. Do you know what? That means there was never an official change of the lead. Never actually happened. They didn't cross the line. So under the technical definition of a lead change, it never happened.
It never happened.
But there, the gap is now is at 3.2. Dave Robinson has taken another 8/10 out. He has got the pace to bring this one back in.
This is what I've been thinking for the last half an hour. Yes, there's been some teamwork. There's been some very, very rough, firm racing. I mean, I'm not going to blame the drivers at all. They put the heart and soul into this race. They've been working not just this week, but months for this one. They've been waiting to get going again. You know, I would do exactly the same, if I'm honest, mate. If I was Charlie Bingham, I would do everything possible to win.
Absolutely, absolutely.
For me, it didn't cross the line. You know,
no.
I've seen this happen in GTE Pro at Le Mans, where there's a little bit of door banging. It's racing. It's to be expected. This means a lot. This is their Le Mans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Apart from actually going to, well, no, because the owners don't go to Le Mans.
Don't go. So this is it, mate. This is it. And yeah, you've been here for 23 hours, 45 minutes. You're gonna give it all. You're gonna give it your all. The gap. What is it coming through this time? It's up slightly to 3.5. Bingham's judged that traffic beautifully there in the red racing car on that last lap. Oh my goodness me! This is really is quite something. This effort here, but you can see how close they are. There is the 13. There is the 43. And I think the higher carts, so some of these higher carts, we should say, might see some drivers letting drivers pass. That's not because they've all, you know, agreed to help a particular team. Some of these carts will be ailing with issues.
Yeah.
They might be just saying, look, go by me because I know I'm off pace. They may be gesturing not just to the lead owner carts, they may be gesturing to higher carts to say, I'm not here to hold you up. Just get by, I just want to see the checkered flag. So that's why you might see with, for example, the 270 here, saying, look, go by. I don't want to worry too much about this stuff at this stage. That's the DEER, the Deer cart, the 270 doing that. Look at this though, closing in. We have literally got under 12 minutes on the clock now. So here we go for a trophy final here at Teesside Karting between Red Racing and MS Soco Select.
Yes, I know there was the MSJSR trying to hold up, but hey, a few years ago, one of the greatest racing driver of our generation tried to do that to his teammate to win a Formula One World Championship.
Yellow.
And that was nowhere near as exciting as this. That's the modernised racing.
It is.
Number 24 that spun round.
Sorry, yeah, it is. Number 24 there, and yeah, it's, I mean, MSJSR, this is the thing now, for anyone who was, MSJSR, they were influencing this. Well, they've had their stop, they're out of the picture for now. It is now a two-horse battle between these two over the lead of this race, as Charlie Bingham is going to throw that move down on the 70 cart, that being the LMS entry. Glad to see them still running strongly. Through South Bank they go. Don't want to go out too wide there. It's going to be so dirty offline at this point in the race. It's all about getting through the traffic, and then immediately, mate, once you've cleared some traffic, getting back to the optimal line.
Yeah.
You're constantly switching between those two modes. As Dave Robinson.
Little touch there.
Yeah.
And again, that's how hard Robinson's pushing at the moment.
Absolutely.
10 minutes and 17 seconds to go. There's now no carts between them. The gap is 3.2. No, make that 2.5 seconds as timing updates.
And there's a bit of clear air, mate, at the moment ahead of these two. As you can see, they're not going to encounter a train of carts, I would say, in any significant way, possibly until the very end of this lap. Or maybe even next lap. You can see a little bit of traffic up ahead there, but it's nothing too major.
Related, so it won't be slow.
Exactly, it's not going to be a massive hold-up.
It's the Team Keen 115, and they're still pushing, of course.
Yes.
27 seconds behind Offline Motorsport.
Incredible.
Who are doing a marvellous job with their fuel-saving strategy, which they've still got to do, of course. They've been out for 1 hour 20 already in this stint. Most of the other, well, all of the other owner teams have been pitting at about now.
I just want to give a shout out to some of the other, I know we've got to focus on this battle, obviously, but the battle for fourth, 20 seconds apart between A66 and Eco Racing. That's been going for a few hours now, that battle. The battle for sixth in higher kart class. Lockwell Hill Karting just 1 second ahead of BSR. Lockwell with the team with the orange Nassau panel, who they went either side of at the hill.
Yeah.
You know, these karts, some of them are in big battles for them here. This is not, you know, a done deal. It's 1.9 seconds the gap. Renowned Vankels and Jibtech battling away. There's so many good battles down there in the higher kart class, folks. Live.alphatiming.co.uk to follow this. We, as I'm sure you'll all understand, have to keep our attention at the front of this race. 1.9 seconds the gap, and probably now less if Dave Robinson has pulled off another one of his sterling first sectors. It's a 31 point, what he has, he's a 10th quicker as well, so he's already bringing down the time. But I think it's in this latter half of the lap where Dave really does have, this is the part of the lap where he was pulling ahead of Connor Lucas back when he had the MSJSR kart in support. This is where he's strong. That is a good move indeed on the 14.
The 34 side by side with the 14 in higher. 14 being Algorithmic Academy.
34 being BTM UK2. So on completely different laps there. And now he hits the train of traffic. Now he hits it. And this is a long train of traffic that he's going to have to contend with here, mate. He's going to pick off a few of them, heading towards the D chicane. Oh, and he's going to go for it there.
Fine.
That's fine, yeah. That was with the number 30.
How Robinson gets through this traffic as they go down the hill, around the mountain, is going to be very, very telling and potentially quite crucial in the context of this race. Contact!
That was
that was a little bit too rough, and he has lost time because of that.
That was with, I think that was Core Blimey Racing, mate.
Yeah.
I think that was the 113.
Ooh. They will have lost time because of that, surely.
Oh, yeah.
Surely.
Absolutely. And you can see in comparison Robinson getting by the Core Blimey car nice and
both of them had slow sectors, both of them back in the 32s.
Yeah.
They've been in the 31s the last few laps, but crucially, Robinson was a lap quicker. Contact, well, that's been adjusted to be on the 113 turning in.
I'm not sure what... Okay. Not our call to make. I'm just going to leave that. But, yeah, these higher karts, they've got to go somewhere. they're quite big-bodied karts. But this is the thing.
Rassiad says blue flag. Come on. No, this is proper, mate. No blue flags here. Be the first thing that I'd do with Formula 1. Get rid of the blue flag rule. Get them overtaken properly. 6 minutes 40 to go. Red Racing lead. Well, it was by 1.5 seconds last time around. It's less than a second. We've been racing for 23 hours, 53 minutes and 35 seconds. There is 0.8 of a second between the two leaders of this race overall. I've watched a lot of endurance racing, Howard. I can't remember anything quite like this. And we've had some brilliant races in the sport of endurance racing at all kinds of levels over the years.
I think the only thing that's flashing into my mind at all, mate, in terms of...
I've just had one, actually. See if you get it first.
You mentioned how this reminded you a little bit of the Nürburgring 24 hours earlier. I'm thinking of that last lap. Was it 2015?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the drivers now. It was Owen Argyle and somebody else, sorry. But last lap battle around the entirety of the Nordschleife.
The other one that I will throw in there,
Go on.
This one's definitely going in the category, though, of sub-cool endurance races. Citroen C1s at Silverstone 24-hour last year, covered by Alpha Live.
Yep, good point.
That was a last lap change. You never know, we could have one here. 5 minutes, 25 seconds to go. The gap...
0.8 seconds. Down.
It's not updated yet.
Sorry, it's
not.
not.
It went out a bit. 1.1.
Yeah,
that was a good lap for Bingham. And this is all he's just got to do. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if he's winning by 10 laps, 1 lap, 10 seconds, 1 second. 0.1 of a second. As long as he crosses the line first. Oh, he's a little bit slow there. A little bit sluggish as they came up the reverse corkscrew.
If you look at the driver tracker at live.alphatime.co.uk, mate, you can see there's very little in the way of respite now for the traffic. They went through the clear bit of the field a couple of laps ago, and they're now right in the midst of a fair amount of equally distanced traffic.
Oh, hello. Hello, Mr. Super GT. Fantastic to have you here, mate.
It is.
And it is mega close.
You're enjoying it. Yeah, it is. It is very, very close.
Up the inside then goes Charlie Bingham. Dave Robinson follows. I was about to say this is as close as it's ever been, but it wasn't. It was like this about 8 minutes ago. But Dave Robinson is now going to have the slipstream off the back of Charlie Bingham. 4 minutes and 13 seconds to go here of the 2020 British 24-hour kart race, and it comes down to this. Can Dave Robinson, he's sent to move down the inside here into Rib Bend a few laps ago before then tripping over a back marker and losing out 4 or 5 seconds. I think he's going to take his time a bit. He's got time on his side. To say another 4 minutes. Oh, he's having a little look down the inside. Contact! Oh, they're going to be side by side and rubbing as they come onto the back straight, and look at the traffic ahead. Robinson is ahead. Robinson is ahead.
Really interesting place for him to have made the move. Past the JS Racing cart they go. Bingham's right in the slipstream, and he has a think about hairpin one, but Robinson just does enough to cover it off and deter that move there. Now Red Racing, Bingham's going to go for the switch back out of this corner, have better drive heading into South Bank, but Robinson's going to have a bit of a draft effect from some of these karts that he's going by here. He goes past the 84, he's going to get a bit balked there. And is that the number 7 that he's just gone past, who ironically he had the spin with a few laps ago?
I'm just going to throw another thing in here, Howard. Fuel.
Oh, yeah.
Was Dave Robinson checking fuel there? He's the last time he was in was what, 1 hour 10, so he should be fine, but the pace has been so quick.
Yep.
This is not over, folks. This really is not over. And look at the amount of traffic that the two leaders have got to negotiate. That's the number 37
Why So
Serious kart in Owner. Down the inside they go. Bingham's fighting back here. Oh, there's near contact again as they go through rib bend, and Bingham's back ahead.
I'll tell you why so serious. It's for the lead of the race. That's why so serious this time. And this is it, mate. They're now not going to... The thing is, as they battle in this way, traffic that they've just lapped can get back past again.
Yeah.
That is a crazy aspect of this.
Gloves are off, folks. Gloves are absolutely off here. It's side by side as they go through the wiggles. There's contact. Oh, and Bingham's on the grass there, and Robinson's through. Anything goes now here at Teesside. They'll sort it out later. But Robinson is back in the lead with 2 minutes and 9 seconds to go.
Bingham recovered that really well, mate. Managed to avoid going over any of the ramp curbs there and just went across the grass, and he's actually, to my mind, kept himself in the fight so long as the kart didn't mind doing its lawnmower duty very briefly. And it's still not over with less than 2 minutes left on the clock. And incidentally, in all this excitement, we have now passed that distance set last year, 1,147 laps in the book. Let's see if we can clear.
And we've still got 2 to go.
Yeah.
And Bingham is closing in again. Will he send it down the inside? Robinson goes defensive. Bingham is going to send it down the inside into rib bend. What a great manoeuvre. Back into the lead.
Lovely
Red
move.
Racing back up front. Charlie Bingham. Oh my goodness, I have never seen a kart race like this in my life. This is brilliant. Onto the back straight, there's still more traffic. The number 19 of the Frosterley Inn is ahead. They're going to be side by side again. Oh, chops across the front there. Goes Bingham. Robinson's not going to have the opportunity to get by this time. They're going to go into hairpin 1. And Bingham goes slightly defensive on Robinson. That's absolutely fine. He's placing the kart. Will he try and drive Robinson wide? No. Long run now. Next opportunity for Robinson, Howard, will be turned hairpin 3.
Absolutely. But he's going to find it difficult, I think, to set up the opportunity because he's got to worry about going side by side with some karts, and that just holds him up a little bit, gives Bingham a little bit of breathing space. Bingham's quite wide on the exit, though, and Robinson there, he's going defensive in hairpin 4.
It's going to go on to the last lap.
Is he going to get the nose in front? No, he's not. Here we go then across the line. Last lap board being shown at the 2020 British 24 Hours. This is it, folks. Who's going to win this race?
It's Red Racing versus MS Soco Select. The lead change is confirmed. We're on the final lap of the 24-hour British kart race for 2020 here at Teesside Autodrome. Charlie Bingham has gone through the first of the opportunities to overtake for Dave Robinson. Oh, he's slow. He's very slow as they come through the reverse corkscrew. He's held it. He's recovered it very well. Will Dave Robinson try and get a slipstream as they go into the S's? There's traffic. The Teesside Tigers are the number 1 ahead of them. Bingham's got to go for it. Robinson's got to go for it. Oh, there's contact. Oh, and Bingham's off. And he's spun round. And what happened there? Robinson must have made contact just as Bingham was trying to get past the back marker. And Robinson leads. Controversy here at Teesside Autodrome. Dave Robinson is surely on the road at least. That was going to get looked at surely, but MS Soco Select have taken the lead on the last lap of the race. It's been controversial, it's been dramatic, it's been brilliant, but Dave Robinson provisionally is going to win the 2020 British 24-hour kart race for MS Soco Select. They take it again. Oh my goodness me. We wait now for Red Racing. What a brilliant performance. Charlie Bingham gave it everything. The number 11 of MS Karts takes the victory in Pro. We're waiting for the 303. There's the 303. 303 Racing win in Clubman. What a drive, and where are Kart Events Belgium? There they are. A formation finish over the line. Kart Events Belgium. The two teams with 2 drivers each Their squads decimated by the quarantine restrictions for people from Belgium this week have come 1-2 in the higher class. Surely they are teams of the race. What a performance. Second place is going to go the pro battle. Offline Race, Offline Motorsport are going to take second. It worked. The long strat, the saving of the fuel, gives Offline Motorsport second place. Team Keen get third in pro. MSJSR are going to come across the line third in elite. And then the other podium positions in Clubman. Modernised Racing takes second. MS.BE take third. And in the rest of the highs, we've already mentioned the 1-2 for Kart Events Belgium. Team ETL take third in higher. Wow. Wow, what a finish, Howard.
Red Racing took straight to the pit lane upon taking the Chequered.
Sorry, mate.
And we are, it's all right. They took straight to the pit lane, and we are. How does Mr. Fox do that? He's taking photos. The man's been driving through the 24-hour race.
He's a multi-talented soul.
Just incredible. Anyway, there is discussion going on in race control. I've had that fed to me. There is some conversation going on here.
So that is provisional with a capital P.
Provisional with a capital P here. That is not without controversy, as I'm sure you all understand. My goodness me, what an absolute finish. Can I mean, and there we go. The Karting Events Belgium team there, given the Union flag. Fantastic effort from this two-man squad.
I've got to give it to them.
Yeah, I can understand
apologies
that.
anyone who has obviously got their nominations, but for me, for this week, two guys, 24 hours between them. What they did at Le Mans last year in 2019 was remarkable. The spirit this team has. I don't think they'll ever have a better moment than this. They'll never forget this one. Not just a win, but a 1-2 in class for the 6 and the 66.
And I hope those who weren't able to make it for this effort are enjoying this one.
Yeah, Kurt Van Hoenacker, absolutely spot on. Well done, Sieber and Kenneth in kart number 6.
Yeah.
And look at that behind as well. What a scene that is. The 303 Racing flying the Polish flag. What a win. This will be a very popular win. I'll be honest, this was not what I expected in Clubman.
No.
But I am very, very happy to see that kart in particular take the win in Clubman. The team of Sebastian Borek, Slavek Piskors, very, very good friend of ours. Got to admit, this one's special. This one's very special for all the hard work that Slavek does for Alpha Live. Rob Duma, a graduate of the Northampton Karting League at the very start days of Alpha Live. Marcel Filipiak, who took the kart to the end, and Philip Lawlick as well. What a team, what a drive, and they did not put a foot wrong.
No, it has been an absolutely sterling effort from them.
There's your second place in Clubman, Modernised Racing, the team of Piers Stockton, Andy Dawson, Seb Algieri, Brad Butcher, Jake Robertson, Thomas Fox and Paul Waring. So that one's quite special as well, I'll be honest, mate, because there's quite a few BUKC lads in there.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I am hearing, mate, provisionally this is discussions of a black flag being issued here. That's what I'm hearing. I cannot confirm that that's the decision that's been made, but that is what's being discussed in.
Hello.
We're going to wave. I'm going to. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. We got to wave back.
Just whilst we wait for the news, I want to take the opportunity to say some thank yous. For a long time, we didn't think this one was going to run.
Yeah.
But I want to name in order our cameramen: Adam Chapman, Fraser Gladsby, Gregory Malone, Tom Howe, out there providing all the pictures for you. Our wonderful, excellent, best in the country, best in the continent, possibly the best in the world, if you ask me, staff from Alpha Live producing the stream. Darren Hassan, the man to our left, Morgan Jones, and the man in charge of it all, Luke Austin, and James Fitchew, not here this weekend, but we couldn't do this roll call without thanking James as well. Thank you to all the efforts that they've done. Another absolutely remarkable event and a remarkable stream in remarkable circumstances that is the year 2020. I want to thank our commentary team as well. David Sullivan, Tom Butterworth, who, as we say, raced in this race as well. Their knowledge, their ability on the mic has been brilliant and a pleasure to work with. But most of all, I want to thank you, mate. I want to thank you, mate, for everything you've done the last few months for me. Thank you.
That's absolutely fine, mate. It's been an interesting year, but it's great when we're able to come together and have a race like that. It's been a pleasure to work alongside you for this event. What a race it has been. What a race it's been.
Should also give our thanks to Teesside Karting as well. Kat Franklin, Paul Franklin, Bob Hope, all the things that they do. I love coming here. Some people may not say it's the most flashy venue, but it's one with a lot of heart. And that's what's important at this level for me. So thank you everything. Thank you Teesside Karting for everything that you've done this year, for getting this event on, for getting us racing. And long may it continue.
I think we are going to end this one on from ourselves here in the box, and I think they're going to be showing some pictures from the paddock. Sorry, there'll be a paddock filmed post-race on Facebook. So if you're interested in seeing the wind down from this extraordinary race, be sure to check that out on the Facebook page for Alpha Live. And whilst you're there, for goodness sake, if you haven't given them a like, are you not
if you can't give them a like after that, I don't know what they need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, mate, all I can say is it's
thank you the viewers as well.
Oh,
thank
yeah,
you everyone.
The interaction has been incredible this race. Absolutely incredible.
Best interaction ever, if you ask me, in the comments and on Twitter. Yep. So thank you everybody.
Through the night as well.
Yep.
When, we've done some of these what some would deem the graveyard shifts in the middle of the night in the past. Sometimes we've done them by ourselves, mate. And if there's no one out there who's showing the interaction, then it's not difficult because we enjoy doing this, but it just adds so much to have the interaction with the fans. So thank you so much for supporting the stream. If you have been, please, as we just said, if you've liked Alpha Live's coverage, there it is, coming up on screen, showing on timing here, a black flag for the 43 of MS Soko Select, and that is going to be a real point of contention right there.
But it means we have new champions. For the first time, a Haas chassis wins the British 24-hour kart race, and Red Racing, through their versions of being a team, Q Racing beforehand, they've been bridesmaids so many times in this race. It looks like they've finally done it. They've finally got the win. We're going to wrap everything up here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the commentary, we've been Double Dash Motorsport Media. Give us a like on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Double Dash MM. Give us a subscribe to the YouTube channel as well if you can. This has been an absolutely brilliant Alpha Live production for the full 24 hours, the live stream. Subscribe on YouTube. Like the page on Facebook. Twitter and Instagram as well. Give them a follow. We're going to sign out here at Teesside. Thank you very much for watching. Do take care. Do stay safe. We're not out the woods yet, but we'll hopefully see you very, very soon for more action here from the 24-hour karting series. For the 2020 race, goodbye.